Hi, welcome to my channel. The full version of the audiobook is available on my Patreon. You can quickly find it through the link in my profile description. Thank you for your support.
Chapter 0. Martin was a succubus who was shot to death by an arrow from the sun god during the battle between gods and demons. Martin was a PhD in Chinese literature and a senior film enthusiast. He died in a car accident in August 2023. The two Martin souls magically converged and merged in the turbulence of time and space, and finally entered the body of an 11-year-old boy named Martin Meyers in Los Angeles, America in 1996, devouring his weak soul. The soul of Succubus Martin is the most powerful and dominant. Dr. Martin has become his memory bank. As for Martin Meyers, ignore. It's really strange that there is no spiritual energy in this world. Fortunately, I am a succubus. To practice succubus, you don't need aura, you just need to collect desires. Joy, anger, sorrow, and joy are all desires. As long as these emotions are directed at me, they can become nutrients in my practice. Okay, let's see what reliable way in this world can arouse the emotions of many people. Writers, this is good, music, that's fine too, wow, Hollywood movies, for the whole world, this is great. It seems that I need to be responsible. What is that word? Yes, Wen Chao Gong. Start as a writer, with the ultimate goal of becoming an international film star. What? You mean acting? I'm a succubus. Martin, are you okay yet? Come down and have breakfast, otherwise you will miss the school bus. A gentle voice came from downstairs. Martin, if you are late again, your pocket money will be gone. Another slightly majestic voice. The first person to speak was my mother, Linda Meyers, a very gentle woman who is now a professor of film studies at the School of Cinematic Arts at the University of Southern California. The second person to speak was my dad, Grant Meyers, now an executive in the investment office of J.P. Morgan Chase. My family lives at 222 Tremblin Avenue, a famous wealthy area in Los Angeles. A child from a rich family, I like this status very much. It will also help my plan. P.S. European and American women will take their husband's surname after marriage, even those who flaunt independent female personalities like Hillary are no exception. Come on, Mom, what are you going to eat today? Your favorite thick-cut bacon plus eggs. Wow, that's great. Thanks, Mom. You should thank our housekeeper, Mrs. Aranda, for making breakfast. Thank you, Mrs. Aranda. But Mom, I also want to thank you, because you decide what I eat every day. Linda beamed. Her little Martin seemed to have become more sensible after a serious illness. Hey, why doesn't anyone thank me? It's not fair. Dad, if you could double my pocket money, I would thank you. No way. Then I have no choice. Is it? Pocket money halved. Oh, my dear Dad, I love you so much, you are the greatest person in our Meyers family. You are my pride. Ha ha ha. Linda and Grant laughed together. Grant laughed and pointed at Martin. If your grandpa hears this, he will definitely beat you. Dad, you won't tell Grandpa, right? Look at my mood. Come on, Dad, let me give you a squeeze on your shoulders. Martin looked flattering. For a succubus, flattering, especially flattering someone who is useful to him, has no psychological burden at all. Okay, stop making trouble and eat quickly, otherwise you will really miss the school bus. Linda said. It's okay, I can send him off. No, Martin needs to be like other children so that he can better integrate into the group. I don't want him to have no friends in school. Hey, Mom, I'm so handsome, how can I have no friends? Martin pretended to be unhappy. Yes, he inherited my good genes. Grant immediately put money on his face and got a pair of big hygienic eyes. Martin quickly finished his breakfast, and a white woman came over with a set of clothes in her hand. Dear little Martin, good morning, these are today's clothes for going out. Got it, Mrs. Aranda, I'll change it right away. The little boy wiped his mouth quickly, trotted over, hugged his clothes and rushed into his dressing room upstairs. Slow down, honey. I know, but I'm almost too late, Mom. After a moment, Martin, who had changed into a light blue t-shirt and jeans, walked out with a school bag. He has a handsome face, fair skin, and brown hair. Because he is 1/4 Chinese, Martin does not have the usual appearance of a white child. Those common freckles. Coupled with the succubus's natural charm, although it is still very weak now, it is already attractive enough given his own conditions. Wow 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 wow, look at this handsome young man, who is he? Grant joked again. He is the son of the handsome Mr. Grant and the beautiful Mrs. Linda, who inherits all their virtues, Martin Meyers. Little Martin knows how to pick up jokes. Carrying his school bag on one shoulder, Martin rushed out of the house quickly. Goodbye, Mom and Dad, goodbye, Mrs. Aranda. After running quickly through the front garden and out the door, Martin sped up, and the pitiful accumulation in his body these days was absorbed by him as he ran desire. Data on physical fitness such as strength, speed, and reaction were all there. Slight improvement. When we arrived at the street corner, a little boy with eyes was already waiting. Hey Martin. Good morning, Mark. This thin boy with glasses is named Mark Zuckerberg. He is 1 year older than Martin. He was born into a wealthy Jewish family. The family just moved to Los Angeles from New York. This guy had to repeat junior high school because he was addicted to computers. First grade, that is, 7th grade. But because this guy went to school early, he is now the same age as his classmates. And because Martin also went to school 1 year early, he is 1 year younger than his classmates in the same grade. P.S. The academic system of American middle schools is different from that of China in the division of stages, but the overall academic system is the same as that of China, both of which are 12-year education. American elementary schools usually have a 6-year system, and middle schools are different from those of China. Middle school is also a 6-year system. The difference is that American middle schools only have 2 years of grades 7 and 8, while high school has grades 9-10-11-12, which is equivalent to the 3rd year of junior high school, the 1st year of high school, the 2nd year of high school, and the 3rd year of high school in China. Martin, he greeted Mark cordially. In Martin's memory, this guy's future achievements are not small. Of course, he must have a good relationship since childhood. Brothers, please take care of me and give me some comments, flowers, collections, and rewards. Thank you. Chapter 1. Martin, why are you handsome again? Standing with you like this makes me feel a lot of pressure. Mark is a shy child, but he is also very open-minded in front of familiar friends. He is commonly known as stupid. Martin patted him on the shoulder. Mark, do you want to date a pretty girl? Of course. Although Martin's leaping thinking made him a little uncomfortable, he still answered honestly. Then work hard to make money. Money can impress beautiful girls more than handsome appearance. That makes sense. Mark thought for a moment, so, when I have money, I will be more popular than you. How can it be? Martin looked surprised, because I will definitely be handsome and rich in the future. Damn it, he got it again. Mark was depressed. While he was talking, the bright yellow school bus came. Phew. The door opened. Guys, get in the car. Good morning, Mr. Jared. Good morning, sir. Martin politely greeted the driver Jared, and Mark, who was following him, also said hello with a red face and a low voice like a mosquito. Martin, who had greeted the driver, faced him with a faint smile. In the carriage, hands on hips, hello, how are you guys? Hi Martin. There was a chorus of untidy replies in the carriage, mixed with crisp laughter. It was obvious that our little Martin was very popular. Martin, tell us again about the story of Kung Fu Panda that you talked about last time. Sitting in the front row was a little girl with red hair, blue eyes, bangs, and light freckles on her face. Okay, Lindsay, but I hope you won't pester me with stories during class. I swear, it won't happen again. The carriage became quiet, with only Martin's clear voice ringing. Despite the prosperous and peaceful scene of the Peace Valley where Pe is located, it is actually a feng shui treasure land of crouching tiger, hidden dragon. Not to mention that all the 5 great kung fu masters are based here, and a master-level master lives in seclusion here. In order to deal with the evil Taro, the Peace Valley held a special martial arts competition. The winner will represent the Peace Valley and drive the evil Taro away. Unexpectedly, the incompetent Abeo was there. After a series of mistakes, Pinkei was selected, which surprised everyone. Everyone was listening, especially the little girls, whose eyes were full of admiration. Mark on the side was extremely envious. The school bus arrived at its destination quickly, and the children got off the bus one after another. Martin was in charge of maintenance and so got off last. Mark was his follower, so he got off last. Lindsay is so beautiful, and she seems to have a thing for you. Mark lowered his voice and said enviously. I know. Martin replied lightly. Dorothy is also very beautiful and seems to be interested in you, but she loves to fight so much that all the boys in school are afraid of her. I know too. So what do you think? Don't let down good girls, don't let bad girls go to waste, in short, I want them all. Mark looked shocked. Aren't you afraid that those jealous boys will beat you to death? Martin chuckled. I welcome them to challenge me. For Martin, love, joy, jealousy, and anger are all his nutrients. I wonder if God heard Martin's arrogant words. No, here comes the challenge. Bang! A fat and thick one-yobi's hand was slammed heavily on Martin's desk, and then swept the books and pens he placed on the desk to the ground. Are you Martin? My name is John, you should know me, and now I order you to stay away from Dorothy, otherwise I will break your neck like a chicken. A tall and strong boy with a face covered with freckles stood in front of Martin's position and threatened fiercely. Who is John? Should I know him? Martin asked Mark next to him with a puzzled look. Mark was almost scared to death. He is the boss of our entire junior high school, John Terry's. Boss? In other words, the school bully. Just this fat guy. It's not majestic or domineering at all, it's such a disgrace to our San Marino Middle School. Fark, what did you say? John's face turned red with anger at Martin's words, and he stretched out his hand to grab him. The next second, his thumb was grabbed by Martin and he broke it hard. Ah! Screams rang out, and John knelt down, with painful snot and tears coming out. Yes, John is tall and his strength is outstanding among his peers, but Martin is a succubus. Although on the battlefield between gods and demons, succubi have the worst physical fitness, but that is compared to other gods and demons. For humans, even Martin, whose ability has not yet returned to 1000th level, his power, well, okay, his power is not as good as John's now, but his speed and reaction are far beyond that, with not much difference in strength. It is of course easy to deal with a kid without any fighting ability. What's your name? About, John. Are you the boss of the junior high school? Yes. It hurts, no, I am not, you are the boss, Boss Martin. As John cried out, traces of fear and resentment surged toward Martin, and were sucked into his body, feeling a sense of relief. The eyes of the surrounding classmates changed when they looked at Martin. They couldn't imagine what they were seeing. Martin, who looks delicate and elegant, actually has such a violent side that even John was bullied by him. Little stars appeared in Lindsay Lohan's eyes. Martin is so awesome. Not only is he handsome and smart, he is also strong and capable. Damn, I like him more and more. At this time, the door of the class was pushed open from the outside, and a tall girl rushed in from the outside. John, you bastard, don't bully me. The girl was stunned, looking at John who was kneeling on the ground in front of him, his face full of tears and runny nose, begging for mercy, and the tall but handsome figure standing in front of John. What's going on? Is it different from what you thought? Dorothy, why are you here? Martin turned his head and asked unexpectedly. I heard that John was coming to trouble you, and I wanted to stop him. At this point, Dorothy suddenly smiled when she came back to her senses, but it doesn't seem necessary now. Martin smiled, and a faint charm emanated from his body. It was not intentional, but just natural. The little girl's face suddenly turned red. Not only Dorothy, but also every girl in the class, their hearts beat faster. Mark looked at his friend blankly, wishing he could replace him. Why was Martin so charming when he smiled? He couldn't understand it. Brothers, please take care of me, give me some comments, flowers, collections, and rewards. Well, thank you. Feilu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now, event time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 2. I'm back. Martin opened the door of his home after having finished the day's classes easily, and unexpectedly found his father Grant and mother Linda sitting at the dining table. They looked at him after hearing his voice. What happened? Martin glanced at Aranda, the housekeeper lip-synced him. Random House? Martin was relieved instantly and knew what was going on. Looking at Grant and Linda, he found that there were smiles and joy hidden under their serious faces. Of course, there was also doubt and surprise. Ahem, Martin, tell me, what have you done without telling us lately? Hey, Mom, are you trying to get a confession? It depends on whether you made a mistake. Of course not. I attend classes at school every day. When I get home, I complete my homework on time. Then I read some extracurricular books and sometimes write something by myself. Wait, write something yourself? Grant interrupted his son's narration, and then organized his words, so besides writing something, have you, done anything else? Well, I sent some stories that I thought were pretty good to the publisher. Maybe it was my little extravagance. I always hope that more people can read them. For example, I send. Like this Random House book? Grant took out a thick new envelope from the leather bag beside him and shook it towards Martin. Both he and his wife had smiles on their faces. Wow, did Random House reply? Martin pretended to be excited. Take a look, I haven't opened it yet, I hope it's not a rejection letter. Just after Grant finished speaking, Linda hit him on the arm. Only then did he realize that he had said the wrong thing. He pulled his fingers on his mouth and made a zipper motion to express, I shut up. Martin was not worried at all. Opened the envelope and read. Dear Mr. Martin Meyers, this is Benjamin Georgia, publishing editor at Random House. We really enjoyed your fairy tale, Kung Fu Panda. We will come to your home on September 25th to discuss publishing matters. Wow, our little Martin is going to publish a book, I'm so proud of you. Linda hugged Martin, and her eyes were red with joy. Grant was also a little excited. The 11-year-old writer, our Meyers family is going to have a genius. If not, I have to call my father quickly and tell him. This good news. September 25th. A black Cadillac car stopped slowly on the side of the street. A man and a woman got out of the car. The man was about 40 years old. His gray professional suit made him look very capable. He was a little thin but energetic. The woman, who was about in her early 30s, was also wearing a gray professional suit, carrying a small bag in her hand, and followed the man closely. She looked like an assistant or secretary. These two were Benjamin Georgia, the editor of Langdon Publishing House, and his assistant Miss Sheena. Benjamin put his hand on his forehead and looked around, and finally his eyes fell on the Meyers villa not far from them. On the gate. Number 222 Tremblin Avenue, a high-end residential area. He muttered, then looked at Hina. I said, Hina, is the author's address here? Benjamin, I checked, this is it. Zena said with a smile. With a wealthy family and a good education, the owner of the house must be a person who loves literature and has a lot of books at home. No wonder he can write such interesting stories. Benjamin said while adjusting his suit. The author should not be too young. Although it is a fairy tale, ordinary young people do not have such experience to support them in writing such a detailed ancient Chinese background in the story, including the landscape, clothing, martial arts and even food described in the book. Every detail is full of Chinese elements. Zena said. The two of them talked and came to the door of the villa and rang the doorbell on the left side of the doorpost. Soon, a friendly female voice came from the intercom. Hello, this is the Meyers house. Who are you? Hello, we are from Langdon Publishing House. Is Mr. Martin Meyers at home? Benjamin replied. There was a pause for a moment before the voice came again. Please wait a moment, okay. Then there was the sound of hurriedly running away, and a faint exclamation was heard. Benjamin and Sheena looked at each other doubtfully, and spread their hands together in confusion. After a while, the friendly female voice sounded again on the intercom. Please come in, sir and madam are waiting for you at the door. Mr. and Madam. Benjamin thought secretly, it seems that the gentleman is Mr. Martin, the author of Kung Fu Panda. He had already begun to silently prepare his speech in his heart. The big electric iron door slowly opened, revealing beautiful garden. A circle of tall palm trees is planted along the wall, which increases the privacy of the villa. Dotted in the garden. Among them, the pink, rose-red, and purple flowers are very eye-catching. There is a marble fountain in the center of the lawn, and the water spray from the mouths of two fishes shines in the sun. Behind the fountain, there is a large building. The sizable Baroque-style villa, with luxurious marble pillars and exquisite sculptures, shows that the owner has extraordinary taste. At this time, two middle-aged men and women with good temperament were already waiting at the door. Benjamin and Sheena were nearby, and the man took the lead in reaching out his hand. "Welcome you two, I have been looking forward to it for a long time. Are you Mr. Martin Meyers? Your work is so wonderful. I believe that children all over the world will have another classic book." Grant was stunned, knowing that the other party had misunderstood, and smiled. "Kung Fu Panda is not my work. Let me introduce myself. My name is Grant Meyers, Chief Investment and Office Manager of the Investment Office of J.P. Morgan Chase Bank." With Linda beside him. Fortunately, he reacted in time and was not rude. When the two parties walked into the reception room of the villa and sat down, Benjamin realized that he had made a mistake. The real Kung Fu Panda, the author, is Grant and Linda's son, Martin Meyers. "I would like to ask, how old is your son this year?" 11 years old. Grant looked proud. Benjamin and Sheena looked shocked. "Is he at home now? I want to talk to him. He should have finished school by now and will be home in about 15 minutes. What would you two like to drink? Black tea or coffee? Or some whiskey?" "Coffee, thank you." "Where's the lady?" "I'd like black tea, thank you." Linda winked at Aranda, the housekeeper next to her. The housekeeper quickly left and brought a plate with 2 tall and short pots and 4 cups on it. The tall one was the coffee pot, and the short one was the fat one is the teapot. "Come and try authentic Blue Mountain coffee and Chinese black tea." The 4 of them each picked up their cups and started chatting. After more than 10 minutes. "I'm back. Brothers, please take care of me and give me some comments, flowers, collections, and rewards. Thank you. Feilu's 18th Anniversary Brand Upgrade Rewards Readers. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Event time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 3. Martin opened the door and saw 2 guests sitting in the living room. He was not too surprised. He guessed that it was someone from Random House. Being able to come to the door in person showed that they valued their Kung Fu Panda. Benjamin and Sheena also saw Martin, and they were amazing at first sight. The 11-year-old boy walked in the door in the sunshine. His thick brown semi-long hair was neatly combed behind his head and was rimmed with gold by the sunshine. His blue eyes were like the sea, his nose was straight, his facial features were handsome and three-dimensional, and finally the most touching thing is the sunshine and confidence that radiates from the inside out. Is this Martin Meyers? Look, who is back, our little writer. Grant stood up with a smile, walked to Martin, put his arm around his shoulders, and introduced him. This is Mr. Georgia, the publishing editor of Random House, and his assistant, Miss Sheena. They are the person in charge of your Kung Fu Panda movie. Hello, Mr. Georgia, Miss Sheena. Benjamin saw the little boy showing an expression of surprise at first, then immediately regained his composure, and greeted him and Sheena politely. He thought to himself that this little boy is really calm. And then he thought that he was creating at such a young age. With such a wonderful fairy tale like Kung Fu Panda coming out, it feels even more incredible. A little boy who is only 11 years old can actually write such a story. My name is Benjamin Georgia, Martin Meyers. Hello, you can call me Benjamin. Although his mood was ups and downs, Benjamin still said with a smile. Nice to meet you, Mr. Benjamin. Martin nodded and smiled like a little gentleman. Benjamin pondered for a moment, and then said seriously, Mr. Martin, I have a few questions to ask you. After hesitation, he decided to treat Martin as an adult. He possessed a stability and etiquette that ordinary children of this age did not have. Of course, in the United States, most children from wealthy families learn etiquette from an early age, but in front of him this person gave him a completely different feeling. There was no unfamiliar copying or stiff acting that the etiquette had not yet integrated into his bones, and there was a sense of calmness and elegance. But he didn't know that, for the succubus, elegance is an instinct, which is very similar to the elves in the god camp. Even when facing death, the succubus will not do any behavior that damages its image, such as crying, waiting for mercy, etc. Martin sat down opposite Benjamin, and Aranda brought a cup of black tea at the right time. "Thanks." Martin took a sip and felt calm. Even Grant on the side looked a little surprised. When did his son become so famous? Is this still the little Martin I know? Then, Martin put down the cup. Said to Benjamin, "Mr. Benjamin, you can ask whatever you want. As long as it's not too outrageous, I will answer it." Benjamin calmed down and said, "Mr. Martin, actually I have only one question. Can you tell me about your original intention and process of creating this story?" "Certainly." Martin smiled. He knew the doubts in Benjamin's heart. His age would always have some influence on certain things. Although Benjamin's tone was as gentle as possible, the succubus' keen senses still made Martin feel what he had hidden deep in his heart. That doubt. "Mr. Benjamin, I created this story because I had no more stories." "No more stories?" Benjamin looked confused and didn't understand. "Yes, I usually tell stories to my classmates on the way to the school bus, but fairy tales like The Mermaid and Snow White are too young, and children my age don't like to listen to them, and fairy tales like The Little Prince and Hamlet are too young. Even though they have become adults, they still don't like to hear it. One day, my father took me to the zoo. We went to see the lions and the pandas from China. I suddenly thought of Disney's The Lion King, released the year before. Since Disney was able to use animals instead of people to tell Shakespeare's stories, and it was so popular, why couldn't I also use animals to tell a story? So, there is this, Kung Fu Panda. Was it because you were inspired by seeing giant pandas from China in the zoo? This is just one of the reasons, and another reason is I like Chinese culture. I think Mr. Benjamin must have noticed that I used a lot of Chinese details in this story. For example, the 5 masters actually represent the 5 Chinese boxing techniques: tiger fist, crane fist, monkey fist, snake fist, and mantis fist. There is also the word shou on the back of Kwai mantis, as well as the architectural shape and decoration of the Jade Palace. The little guy paused here, took a leisurely sip of black tea to moisten his throat, and then continued. To be honest, the writing process of this story was very smooth. It seemed that there was endless inspiration coming from my head. Not only the inspiration for the plot, but also the stories kept popping up in my head during the process of writing the book. Various animal images in it, the majestic and loving raccoon master, the arrogant and gentle tiger, the honest and steady crane, the humorous and quick-tempered praying mantis, the warm-hearted pretty little dragon, the ferocious taro, as well as the easygoing, innocent, the active and playful panda Pa. Benjamin listened attentively. Hina on the side was holding her chin in her hand and looking at the young man talking in front of her without blinking. She thought Martin's young and mature look was so handsome. "By the way, I also drew them, please wait a moment." Martin stood up from the sofa and trotted upstairs. Benjamin said sincerely to Grant and Linda, "Your son is very good." Grant and Linda looked proud. But at the same time, Grant still had doubts in his heart. When did Martin understand Chinese culture so well? After a while, Martin came back carrying a cardboard box. "Mr. Benjamin, these are all portraits I created of the characters in the book," Martin said as he opened the carton, and vivid anthropomorphic animal images appeared in front of everyone. Benjamin looked at it in surprise, and kept making "wow" sounds in his mouth. "It seems that our illustrations are ready. Brothers, please take care of me and give me some comments, flowers, collections, and rewards. Thank you. Feilu's 18th Anniversary Brand Upgrade Rewards Readers. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Event time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 4. Mr. Benjamin, this is my creative process. I think this should clear up your doubts. Benjamin was stunned for a moment, then smiled. "Martin, you are really smart. I can't treat you as an ordinary child. I am now extremely convinced that you are the creator of Kung Fu Panda. Looking at Martin talking eloquently, Benjamin's only doubt disappeared. There are geniuses in this world, right? Then he said, "Then, regarding the issue of copyright fees, it is up to you to discuss it with me in person. Should I talk to you, or should Mr. Grant or Ms. Linda talk to me? Martin stood up and stretched. The calmness and sharpness just now were completely gone, and the child's innocence returned to him. Leave these to my dad, I'm just a child. Sheena on the side couldn't help laughing out loud, and Benjamin, Linda and Grant also laughed. Then it was Grant and Benjamin's confrontation time, with Sheena making a memo. Linda took the lead. He led Martin to sit in the small hall in the backyard. But before leaving, Martin suddenly said, "Dad, don't forget to tell Mr. Grant that my age is a good promotional gimmick. I think many people will be curious. A 10-year-old, what kind of book can a 1-year-old boy write? This is also our bargaining chip." Grant and Benjamin were stunned at the same time. They came to the small living room. Linda asked curiously, "Martin, how did you come into contact with Chinese culture? I remember we didn't hire a tutor for you in this area." As a child of an elite family, although Martin did not go to those private schools, he had a lot of tutors: music, painting, foreign languages, Latin, French, etiquette, horse riding, etc. Martin used to be it is miserable, but now Martin is enjoying it. The succubus is a natural artist and linguist, and especially likes things with a sense of ritual, so what Martin has learned has become his nourishment. Not only does he learning from the teacher, he also takes the initiative to study on his own, and his daily schedule is full. Even so, he can also take into account physical exercise. Every succubus is a fitness fanatic, because a toned body can add to his charm and add to his beauty. Bewitching and seducing magic enhances the effect. As for why Martin has this time? Because he learns so fast. Especially artistic things such as music and painting, he can master them as soon as he learns them, which amazed several tutors. Sorry, I thought this child was enlightened. Back to Linda's question. Martin was already prepared for this. Mom, my math teacher is a Chinese. I have borrowed many books about China from him. I can even speak some Chinese now. Mom, listen up. Hello, thank you, you're welcome, have you eaten? Goodbye. Even though I don't understand it, my son is awesome. Linda ruffled Martin's hair. No, Mom, you can't do this, my hairstyle. Our little Martin has grown up and started to pay attention to his appearance. Don't worry, our little Martin has inherited his mother's beauty and can handle any hairstyle. No, I am a man, this is called handsome. Geez, yes, handsome. Now Martin knows how to make his mother happy. As the mother and son chatted, time flew by. Grant has negotiated follow-up matters for Martin, and Random House will publish the book 2 months later, 1 week before Thanksgiving. Publish and distribute, Kung Fu Panda, with an initial printing of 200,000 copies, priced at $15, and a 10% royalty. This is already the treatment of an established writer. You know, in the United States, the lowest royalty for a new writer can even be as low as 3%, normally this amount is only in the range of 5% to 9%. In Grant's words, the words Martin said before leaving played a big role. Apparently Benjamin also felt that the genius young writer gimmick can play a great role in promoting the sales of Kung Fu Panda. A simple calculation, a book costs $15 and 200,000 copies. If all can be sold out, that will be a sales of $3 million, from which Martin can get to $300,000. Of course, this is before tax only, after tax it is less than half. 10,000 tax nation is no joke. Fortunately, Martin's father is engaged in finance and is very good at various tax avoidance methods. On the way back, Benjamin sighed while driving, unbelievable, you know, I have never seen such a child. I can see the innocent and simple side of the child in him, and I can also see it's really special to see the cunning and cunningness of adults in him. I thought I would gain something today, but in fact, I gained a very, very big harvest today. An 11-year-old child, can you believe it? Benjamin, I'm equally shocked. Oh, my God, that little boy is so handsome. He has a charming temperament, especially those bright blue eyes. Seeing those eyes, I seem to see Paul in his youth. Newman. Hina's shock seemed to be different from Benjamin's. When she talked about Martin's handsomeness, her tone was full of excitement and excitement. Star temperament, this kid has a star temperament, he is born to be in the spotlight. Benjamin suddenly felt something in his heart when he said this. Martin's home. Grant excitedly opened a bottle of champagne and said, "Wish our little Martin's new book a big hit." Linda hugged Martin and kept kissing his face. "Hey, Mom, you scared me." Martin dodged left and right, unable to avoid his mother's attack, and couldn't help shouting. Linda giggled, "No, no, no, my dear, it was you who scared me. I never thought my son is actually a talented writer." Okay, can you mother and son separate for a while?" "Martin, I have something to ask you." Martin took the opportunity to push his mother away and ran to Grant as if running away. "Dad, what do you want to ask?" "Martin, you said you wrote some of the stuff, so obviously Kung Fu Panda isn't all of it, right? Tell me, what else did you do behind our backs?" Martin lowered his head pretending to be embarrassed and whispered, "Dad, I actually wrote a script and sent it to my Aunt Nancy." Nancy Meyers, Grant Meyers' sister, Martin's aunt, is also a famous female film producer, director, and screenwriter in Hollywood. "What? Script? Brothers, please take care of me and give me some comments, flowers, collections, and rewards. Thank you. Feilu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade rewards readers. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Event time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 5. Grant originally just wanted to scare his son, but he didn't expect that his son actually did something else behind his back. "You said you wrote a script and sent it to your Aunt Nancy?" "Yes, Dad, counting the time, she should have received it almost, maybe reading it now." Martin laughed. In an exquisite small villa. Nancy Meyers opened the thick envelope in her hand, feeling a little strange. She didn't know what her little nephew had sent to her. Match made in heaven. A script? Nancy Meyers' eyes widened. Author, Martin Meyers. This kid wrote a script. Nancy Meyers thought for a moment that this was a prank played by her nephew. Wouldn't it be some naughty kid's nonsense? But after turning the first page, she found that it was really a script, and there were also drawings. She shot the storyboard and drew it very professionally. Soon, she was attracted by the content of the script. The script describes a couple who separated due to a misunderstanding. They have a pair of twin sons. Among them, Mike grew up with his father in California, and Baker then he lived with his mother in London, and the couple had a tacit understanding and sent their sons to the same summer camp 11 years later. At a summer camp in Maine, 11-year-old Mike Parker met Baker James. Although the two men have strikingly similar looks, they were sworn enemies at first. Mike didn't like Baker, and Baker was equally reluctant to ignore Mike. But they both had some traits in common. They were allergic to strawberries, good at poker, and a prank. When the two were sarcastic to each other, they accidentally talked about their father and mother. They looked exactly the same. One only had his father and the other only had his mother. They were both eager to know what their mother or father was like. Two smart people. The little boy suddenly discovered something strange. The two took a pair of photos of their parents and found that the photos that were torn in half could be put together into a complete photo. The two suddenly realized that the other person they were seeing was themselves. The twin brothers. Nancy was fascinated by the story. This warm and romantic story moved her deeply. Of course. You must know that the reason why Martin chose to copy this script and send it to Nancy was because this story was originally created by Nancy in 1997. I naturally feel familiar with the story I wrote. P.S. The original script is adapted from the novel, The Two Little Lots, by the German writer Ilyich Kastner, here because the plot needs to be changed to Martin's original work. However, the reason why Martin thought of writing this script was not entirely because of Aunt Nancy, but also because of his good friend Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan confirmed that it was the original starring in The Ones, and became a famous child star in Hollywood with this movie in 1998. Yes, the twins in the original, The Ones, were a pair of little girls, one of whom was played by Lindsay Lohan. The two characters showed superb acting skills that are not suitable for their age. But now, although the other party is his good friend and admirer, Martin still did not hesitate to write the protagonist as twin boys. After all, in his plan, these movies were his stepping stone to stardom. Jingle bell, jingle bell. Hello, this is the Meyers family. Who are you? Oh, it turns out to be Miss Nancy, looking for Mr. Grant. Please wait. Hello, Nancy. Grant, you know, Martin Jr. wrote me a script. Yes, I know, just found out. You knew already? Well, it's not surprising, but he writes so well. Tell me honestly, have you? No. Nancy, don't worry, you didn't find a ghostwriter, you didn't find a gunman, and you didn't ask anyone to provide any help. This was completely done by Martin alone. Oh my God, it's true, Martin is so awesome, it's unbelievable, he's only 11 years old. Yes, this is not the first time I heard this description today. In fact, Martin has also created a fairy tale, which Random House is ready to publish. Oh my God, Martin is a genius. You lucky guy. Get Martin on the phone. I want to have a chat with him. Sorry, our family is getting ready to go out for dinner. It's too late today, why not tomorrow? Tomorrow is okay, I will call you tomorrow. No, I will come to your house tomorrow. Tomorrow is the weekend, let Martin wait for me at home. That night. It was already late at night. But Linda tossed and turned and couldn't fall asleep. Grant, are you asleep? No. I can't sleep. Me too. Grant, do you think our little Martin is really a genius? Everything that happened today was like a dream, which made Linda, who had calmed down, worried about gains and losses. Don't worry, Martin is a genius, at least when it comes to writing. A fairy tale and a script, and Benjamin and Nancy's approval, doesn't that prove it? Me, I just can't believe it, as if I'm dreaming, I actually gave birth to a little genius. Linda smiled like an ant. No, it's us, we gave birth to a little genius. Grant emphasized. The next day. Nancy came as expected. The first thing she did when she came to the door was to hold Martin in her arms and give her a good squeeze. It took a long time for Martin to break away, and his delicate little face turned red. Don't get me wrong. That's too much to hold back. Aunt Nancy, let's talk about the script. Martin's aura when he faced Benjamin before was gone. No, I will talk to Grant about the specific things. I just want to ask you now, do you want to act in this movie? You must be thinking about it, right? Those 11-year-old twin brothers were the ones you prepared for yourself, right? Martin, do you want to be a star? In this case, let's license this script to my aunt for free. Don't worry, my aunt will get you a good salary. Martin was dumbfounded. He didn't expect you to be such an Aunt Nancy. You have finished speaking. What did I say? So he couldn't help but spit out, Aunt Nancy, do you know what the iron rooster means? Without waiting for Nancy to answer, he imitated the speed of her speech and said quickly, this is a Chinese metaphor, which means that the iron cock never plucking a hair, describing stinginess, and grand debt. The script is licensed to my aunt for free, and the remuneration is paid by the film company. Aunt, you definitely want to get the rights to produce and direct. You are eating both. Nancy looked at Martin with some surprise. This little guy can think of so much in just one sentence. He looked at Grant, and his brother gave him a proud look. Yes, my son is so sharp. Brother, everyone, please take care of me, please give me some comments, flowers, collections, and rewards. Thank you. Chapter 6. Nancy was stunned for a moment, then suddenly pinched both sides of Martin's cheeks and pulled the flesh on his cheeks to both sides. Little rascal, what did you just say? Nancy looked at her mother for help, but her mother Linda smiled happily and had no intention of rescuing her son from her aunt's clutches. Oh, dear Aunt Nancy, I just said that I am willing to license this script to you for free. I am also willing to play the twins in it. I am also willing to use myself as a bargaining chip to let my aunt negotiate with Disney to win the producer and director's position. Who makes you my dearest Aunt Nancy? That's pretty much it. Nancy put down her hand, suddenly feeling something was wrong. Wait a minute, how did you know I wanted to find Disney? Is this hard to guess? Martin rubbed his face. Disney is the best at making this kind of family-friendly movies, and Auntie, you have cooperated with Disney's Touchstone Film Company many times, and you have a good relationship with the top management of Disney and Touchstone. It is such a suitable script for Disney, and it has connections. If Auntie, you are not prepared to hand it over to Disney, then I will really doubt your professionalism, Auntie. Nancy laughed when she was told, where did you learn all this? As he spoke, he looked at Grant. Grant shrugged, I didn't teach him this. Well, you guessed it, it's Disney and I've sent a copy of the script to their script review office along with my comments. Well-known producer Nancy added her comments. It seems that the script will pass the review with no problem. Martin flattered and shrugged like his father, with a bit of innocence and mischief in his movements. Nancy's eyes lit up, this action is good and can be used in movies. Aunt Nancy, I have another idea. Isn't it a good selling point for a script written by an 11-year-old boy? Moreover, the movie can also be promoted together with my book. I think we can discuss with Random House to let they will not reveal my age for the time being. When the movie is about to be released, the two will be promoted together, which will definitely produce the effect of 1 + 1 being greater than 2. Nancy Meyers left with satisfaction. The surprise that this little nephew brought to her today was so great that she was almost frightened. She didn't expect that Grant and Linda would give birth to a little genius. Little Martin has changed a lot. He is no longer the naughty bag he was before, like a little adult. Nancy turned her thoughts to the production and shooting of A Match Made in Heaven. Martin's storyboard drawings were really good. This should have been taught by Linda, a professor of film studies. In this way, the film could be shot very quickly. In terms of subsequent publicity, Martin's plan was also very feasible. This movie might be a hit. When she thought of this, Nancy's career ambition suddenly became hot. No, I have to go to Disney in person tomorrow to promote the project of this movie. Nancy organized the folders in her hands again in the elevator to make sure that everything was with her. Then she waited for the elevator door to open and walked out of the elevator. In front of the reception desk at the elevator door, a white man in his 30s was already waiting there. After seeing Nancy, he smiled and waved to her. Hello Nancy. Hello, George. The man's name is George Brown, president of Touchstone Pictures, and Nancy's good friend. Come on, let's go to the conference room. Mr. Eisner will be there in a minute. The time came to 10 o'clock. The door to the conference room was pushed open, and a dignified old white man strode in. It was Michael Eisner, the current CEO and chairman of Disney Film and Television Entertainment. Nancy, long time no see. How are you doing? He said hello to Nancy with a smile, and then sat down. Nancy showed a professional smile and nodded in response, not bad. Okay, the meeting begins. George, tell me first. You should have read the script, right? George cleared his throat, looked at Nancy and then said. Mr. Eisner, our editorial team at Touchstone Pictures has reviewed this script, and we unanimously believe that it is a film worth investing in and suitable for Disney style. The family-friendly plot, family, affection, children, drama, and happy ending are all attractive highlights of this film. I think this film is completely worthy of the company's investment. This is my opinion piece, which contains a detailed analysis of this film. Eisner took the opinion letter and did not open it immediately to read it. Instead, he signaled to Nancy, Nancy, it's your turn. Mr. Eisner, George has said enough about this script. I would like to share some of my thoughts on the marketing of this film. Mr. Eisner, in case you don't know, this script was written by my little nephew, who is only 11 years old this year. Eisner's eyes lit up, and then he immediately asked, can you guarantee that he completed this script by himself? Nancy smiled and nodded, I guarantee with my credibility. Moreover, my little nephew not only wrote this script, he also wrote a fairy tale, which Random House is preparing to publish in 2 months. I think our film can be jointly marketed with Random House. The 11-year-old genius writer not only wrote a fairy tale published by Random House, but also created a movie script that was picked up by Disney Pictures. Such a stunt will surely attract many curious parents to take their children with them. Go to the cinema. Moreover, my nephew can also play a role in the book. The talented writer writes and plays it. This is another good publicity point. Nancy talked and Eisner listened thoughtfully. After Nancy finished speaking, Eisner suddenly asked, is your nephew Mr. Grant's son? Nancy nodded. It seems to be called Martin. I once met him at a cocktail party. He is indeed a very handsome little boy. However, are you sure he will let his son become an actor? Nancy smiled, as long as I become the producer and director of this movie, I will be responsible for convincing him. Producing is fine, I believe in your ability, but directing? Nancy, you are new to directing. Grant was also responsible for half of the film's financing. That's no problem. Mr. Eisner, I have another question about my nephew's salary. I hope. When the meeting is over. Michael Eisner and Nancy Meyers were both satisfied. Brothers, please take care of me. Please give me some comments, flowers, collections, and rewards. Thank you. Chapter 7. What, I get 5% of the box office share? Martin was shocked. Aunt Nancy, are you kidding me? Is this the kind of treatment a newcomer can get? Nancy was amused by Martin's appearance. After laughing for a while, she said. Thanks to your dad's investment and your Aunt Nancy's eloquence. Of course, Mr. Eisner is also very optimistic about you. However, this condition is just a special case. If you want to enter this industry, you must understand that you are just a newcomer in the film industry. Don't be too ambitious. I understand. Martin nodded, and then couldn't help but ask, are you sure it's a box office share and not a profit share? In Hollywood, there is a big difference between profit sharing and box office sharing. There are too many tricks in profit sharing. Harry Potter can make you lose money. Can you believe it? Box office sharing is relatively small. Be safer. Don't worry, I'm here. Your dad is not one of those outside investors who doesn't know anything. He invested in Jurassic Park. I can rest assured that. Martin smiled happily, and he calculated it silently in his mind. The box office of Made in Heaven in the original timeline was $92 million, with an investment of $15 million. If he paid 5%, he could get $4.6 million, which was a lot of money in the 1990s. Moreover, he believes that the box office of A Match Made in Heaven starring him will be higher. This is the confidence coming from the Succubus. Time quietly comes to November. Kung Fu Panda is released. Random House is not in a hurry to throw out Martin's identity. They are planning to do a joint marketing with Disney. The movie will be released in the summer season in July next year, and large-scale marketing will start in June next year. At the wrong time, both companies will simultaneously hype up Martin's identity as a genius boy. In school. Lindsay Lohan and Mark Zuckerberg were saying goodbye to Martin, who was about to join the group for filming. John, the tall and powerful school bully, stood behind Martin with a serious face, like a bodyguard. Lindsay Lohan, Martin, I really envy you. You are going to be a movie star. I want to make movies too. Mark Zuckerberg, Martin, you are really going to make movies. That's great. My good friend is going to become a star. By the way, give me an autograph first. Lindsay Lohan, and me. The two of them took out a brand new book from their school bags at the same time. Kung Fu Panda. John glanced at the three people who were interacting and thought disdainfully, how childish, three little brats. Then he secretly rejoiced, Martin is leaving, won't I be the boss again? John, what are you thinking? Oh, there. John was excited and quickly stood up straight with his chest raised and his head raised. He had already formed a conditioned reflex. John, do you know that you are not allowed to bully your classmates while I am away? Well, I don't bully my classmates. If someone bullies your classmates, you have to stand up and stop them. Well, block. You have to remember that you are not the kind of villain who bullies the weak, but you want to be a hero. Well, hero. I don't know why, but as soon as he heard what Martin said and looked into his blue eyes, John couldn't help but feel a will to obey deep in his heart. The little thought he had just now disappeared long ago. Martin looked at the unusually obedient John, he nodded with satisfaction. For a succubus, it is really easy to persuade a person. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, Investment Office. Grant and Nancy, brother and sister, stand and sit together. Nancy, when will the filming start? I wish you could shoot faster, I don't want Martin to miss too much school. Grant asked as he stood there, shaking the red wine glass in his hand. I will hire a tutor for him on the set so that his homework will not be delayed too much. Grant, to be honest, I really didn't think you would agree to let Martin act in the most chaotic Vanity Fair in the world. Grant put down his wine glass with a smile and said to Nancy, Martin's character is very similar to yours. At first, your father was extremely opposed to your entering this circle, but you still stubbornly rushed in? Think about how angry Dad was at the beginning. What did he say? We are a financial family, Grant and Nancy shouted in unison, and then laughed together. If I hadn't put in good words for you these past few years, you two, father and daughter, might still be fighting in a cold war. Humph, who cares? That old man is too rigid. Nancy curled her lips. She still gets angry when she thinks of the old man's rude, unreasonable and arbitrary behavior. Grant shrugged his shoulders and said with a smile, so I don't want to be a rigid and rude father. Martin likes to be a star, so let him try it out. And since he is a boy, he is always safer than a girl. There are many people in this circle who are both male and female. Nancy reminded. Humph, with me supporting him behind his back, I don't believe that any blind person would dare to provoke him. As the head of investment banking at J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, Grant's connections are very terrifying. He controls the wallets of countless wealthy people. Okay, Martin is not only your son, but also my nephew. I will take good care of him and won't let those bad people get close to him. Okay, Nancy, I'll leave Martin to you. Now let's talk about investing. How much do you need? At least $7.5 million. I estimate the budget of this movie to be about $15 million. Disney is only willing to invest half of it, and the distribution of the film must be left to them. These greedy hyenas. Hey, Grant, you promised, you won't go back on it, right? Nancy raised her eyebrows and assumed a stance of arguing with others. Of course not. For the sake of my dear sister and my dear son, it's only $7.5 million, and I can afford it myself. Grant spread his hands and said, Nancy, keep an eye on this money for me. Although it's not much, I don't like to be cheated. I don't want to be the butt of one of those stupid people who throw money into Hollywood. Don't worry, I'm a producer and I'll take good care of the money. By the way, Random House only gave us 8 months, which means the film must be released in the summer of next year, otherwise they will act on their own, and time is tight. When can Martin join the cast? Have all the preliminary preparations been done? Certainly. Tomorrow, Martin has gone to school today to ask for leave. He wants to say goodbye to his friends. Great, just tomorrow. Brothers, please take care of me and give me some comments, flowers, collections, and rewards. Thank you. Felu's 18th Anniversary Brand Upgrade Rewards Readers. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Event time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 8. Goodbye, Mom and Dad. Martin waved goodbye to his family and then got into Nancy's car. Are you excited and have a feeling of being freed from constraints? Nancy smiled and said. A little sad. It's okay, it's just because it's your first time away from home, you'll get used to it soon. No, Aunt Nancy, you misunderstood, I'm just sad that I won't be able to eat Aranda's delicious food for a while. Alright, little guy, I underestimated you. After the joke, Nancy's tone suddenly became serious. She said, Martin, I have to remind you in advance that Hollywood is not as glamorous as it seems on the surface. There are more drugs, alcoholism, etc. in this circle. Promiscuity, and even a lot of coercion and inducement. Martin listened carefully to what Nancy said, and then smiled. Aunt Nancy, I understand that there are always sharp thorns hidden under the rose bushes, and filth and sin are hidden under the bright appearance of Vanity Fair, because it is a place where desires are intertwined. Land. But I like it. Martin added secretly in his mind. The more chaotic and depraved it is, the more intertwined desires are, the more we succubus yearn for it. Nancy was stunned. She didn't expect that little Martin could say such a thing. He was really a brat. Now that you know, don't blame Aunt Nancy for keeping you in check. No, I know you are all doing this for my own good. Nancy nodded. Martin is really much more sensible than her 2 daughters. Grant is really a lucky guy. Nancy did not take Martin directly to the set, but first came to her studio in Hollywood. Sit down, what would you like to drink? Is there any wine? I want to try it. Beautiful thought, only milk and juice. Okay, so juice. Hey, Aunt Nancy, what's that look on your face? I was just kidding. Humph, I will write this down in my notebook. If you behave on the set that dissatisfies me, I will tell your father. Okay, Aunt Nancy, I'll be on my best behavior. Nancy poured a glass of juice and handed it to Martin, then took out a folder from the office drawer, opened it, and said to Martin. This is your script contract and actor contract. Grant has signed it. This one is going to be sent to Disney. Do you want to see it? I guess your dad didn't show it to you. Of course I want to see it, yes, Dad still treats me as a child. Here, be careful, don't spill the juice on it. Calm down. Martin took the 2 documents and read them. The script was licensed to Aunt Nancy for free, and it was also one of the bargaining chips used by Aunt Nancy to negotiate with Disney. As for the actor's contract, his salary was $100,000 plus 5% box office share. This is the most satisfying part for Martin. Well, Aunt Martin, the contract says that I have to study with a tutor on the set, right? What, you want to skip class? I just wanted to take it easy once in a while, you know, I was always getting straight A's in school and I was way ahead of my 9th grade classes. Nancy nodded. She knew that Martin was studying very well, especially in the past year. His study progress has improved by leaps and bounds, as if his IQ suddenly jumped up a lot. Not only did he advance all the 7th grade and 8th grade courses completed, and now he is starting to study the 9th grade course. The most amazing thing is that he did it all by himself, that is, he learned it by himself. What a terrible learning ability. I don't know what Grant is worried about. Think about it again, the 2 daughters who are bad students at home, the most talked about boy every day is either which boy is more handsome or what kind of clothes they should wear today. They are completely compared to each other by Martin. Nancy suddenly felt sour again. She stared at Martin pretending to be serious. He said, this is impossible. Even if Aunt wants to give you an easy way, the child labor law will not allow it. People from the American Children's Association will visit the set regularly, and we don't want to be fined. P.S. To tell a joke, the United States was the first country to enact a child labor law, and it is also one of the countries with the worst use of child labor. This is still the case today. All right. Martin shrugged and changed the subject. Aunt Nancy, who are you going to find to play my parents? For the role of father we chose Dennis Quaid. For the mother, we wanted Julia Roberts, but her asking price was too high, so we went with Natasha Richardson. Her acting skills are good and she's cheap. As for the role of the third party who wants to take away your father in the play, we chose Elaine Hadrix. This actor has a rather charming appearance and often plays the roles of mistress, affair, and secretary. He has experience. You know, our shooting time is limited, and it is best to find actors who can fit the role, so that the shooting can go more smoothly, so Martin, you better not hold me back. Okay, Aunt Nancy, you don't have to worry about me. By the way, Martin, since you want to step into this industry, a reliable agent is a must. Your parents and I will help you pay attention to this aspect. Okay, I'm fine. Time gradually comes to December. The City of Angels has also gradually moved from warm autumn to cool winter. The clothes of pedestrians on the street have also changed from cool t-shirts and suspenders to long-sleeved t-shirts and long-sleeved shirts. The winter in California is not cold. Located in the San Bernardino National Forest east of Los Angeles, the crew of A Match Made in Heaven is filming here. Okay, next scene is the fencing scene. Martin. Nancy was yelling. It seems that anyone's temper will deteriorate as soon as they become a director, and Nancy is no exception. The recent filming encountered many problems. First, the main photographer had a car accident. Although the person was not seriously injured, we were forced to give the guy 7 days off to deal with the insurance compensation. Then there was a communication problem between the crew and the scenic spot management office. The original venue could not be used and had to be changed to the current forest. The last thing is for those young actors, it is well known that the child scenes are the most difficult to film. It is difficult for you to control them. What is even more frightening is that there are a group of children here, laughing, crying, playing and even talking secretly. Damn it, you are only 11 years old. The only thing that makes Nancy feel relieved is Martin. This boy really fulfilled his promise and didn't let her worry at all. Especially the acting problem that she was most worried about, Martin also performed better than expected. Even the associate producer sent by Disney to supervise the team praised him, "This kid is a born actor." "I'm coming." Martin was wearing fencing uniform and trotted out of his exclusive RV. "Brothers, please take care of me and give me some comments, flowers, collections, and rewards. Thank you." Feilu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP points for free. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 9. Charles, go control the other camera. You know the angle I need. Okay, I'll go right away. This Charles is Nancy's husband and Martin's uncle, Charles Schur, who is also a director and screenwriter. The script of A Match Made in Heaven, in the original timeline was written by Nancy and Charles. "Hey, Uncle Charles. Hey, little Martin, have a good show. Your aunt has been a bit tempered recently. Don't get into trouble. Don't worry, I won't give her a chance to scold me." Before she finished speaking, Nancy's roar came from the other side, "Charles, Martin, what are you two talking about?" Martin and Charles shrank their necks at the same time, then looked at each other and smiled. "Martin, do you need a substitute?" Watching Martin put on his fencing uniform, Nancy couldn't help but ask again. "Fencing, I have no problem," Martin said confidently. After changing clothes, Martin did not wear a helmet. In the original film, this scene was shot with two stand-ins, so they both wore helmets, but in the later posing shots, let the star Lindsay Lohan show his face. But Martin didn't need to. His face needed to be filmed in this scene, and it was also a good gimmick for the young actor to fencing in person. Soon, a circle of people surrounded Martin. Those are the boys and girls watching the fun in the movie. In the original script, the setting of this summer camp is a girls' summer camp, but here Martin changed it into a mixed summer camp for boys and girls, so there are boys and girls watching around. These young actors watch. Martin stood in the middle, his heart full of envy and jealousy, and even hate may not be absent. Among them was a 13-year-old girl named Jessica Elba, who was also looking at Martin with envy at this moment. The boy has lived exactly what she wanted. He has become the protagonist of a movie, he is loved by everyone on the set, and even the fierce director is kind to him. But Jessica does not hate Martin, because this guy is so handsome. At this time, Martin was already standing face to face with his opponent. His opponent was a young athlete who had practiced fencing since he was a child. He came from a sports family. He was 2 years older than Martin, but the two were about the same height. Brown hair. This kid named Kiefer Lee will play Martin's twin brother in this film. But at this time, he is thinking in his mind about how to give the handsome boy in front of him a little trouble. Now the position of the person is that Martin is facing the main camera and side to side, while Kiefer Lee is completely facing away from the camera. Action. Following Nancy's order, Martin walked towards his opponent. The round-headed sword in his hand was curled into a very fancy sword flower. Then he raised the tip of the sword and handed the helmet on the ground to Kiefer Lee. The whole action smooth and handsome, all in one go. Nice. Nancy secretly praised in her heart. "Mike, put on your helmet, I don't want to hurt your face that looks exactly like mine." Martin said the lines with a proud face. Obviously, the opponent Kiefer Lee is not allowed to show his face in this scene, so as to save the trouble of post-processing. This is what Kiefer Lee hates about Martin. Why is he the protagonist and I am just a stand-in who cannot show my face? Why is everyone surrounding him and no one cares about me? As a sports star in the school, Kiefer Lee, who has always been the focus of classmates, came to the crew, obviously felt the huge gap, which made him aggrieved. Especially, why did Jessica Elba keep saying good things about Martin but ignore herself at all? So, Kiefer Lee said a few days ago, "We have a plan, we are going to give Martin a little bit of trouble today and make him make a big fool of himself. This guy has ill intentions towards me." As a succubus, Martin is very sensitive. He has long been aware of the subtle malice coming from the other side, but he is not afraid of it. He can completely guess what the other side wants to do. He smiled in his heart, and Martin continued. With the line, "Are you ready, Mike? Come on, Baker." Mike also said his only line in this scene. According to Nancy's original idea, the two of them only needed to make a few simple fencing movements back and forth, and then put in a few beautiful pas. This scene can be over. However, Kiefer Lee's jealousy made everything different and made this scene a classic in the future. Brush. Martin stabbed with a sword. According to the routine of the previous joint training, at this time Kiefer F. Lee should have blocked and then staggered back. But Kiefer Lee did not do that. Instead, after blocking with his sword, he quickly thrust out a sword and stabbed Martin in the forehead. This action is very dangerous, and if you are not careful, you will be killed. Injuring his eyes also revealed that Kiefer Lee is essentially a naughty kid who doesn't know how to control the severity of things when he gets emotional. The expressions of Nancy and Charles changed at the same time. Nancy's face turned gloomy and she was about to stop. But she forced her back. Because of Martin's performance, she suppressed her anger and said to the photographer who looked over, "Continue shooting." With a handsome spin, Martin easily dodged the surprise attack planned by Kiefer Lee. There was still a smile on his face, and there was no hint of anger, just like a child playing with his summer camp companions, letting him. Nancy couldn't help but shout professional in her heart. The sword failed, and Kiefer Lee was also a little surprised. He was very conceited about the speed of his sword, and he didn't expect the other party to be able to dodge. But he didn't stop there. The sword stabbed at Martin again and again, using all his strength. At this time, everyone could see that something was wrong with Kiefer Lee's actions. The children who were watching had various expressions on their faces, most of them were gloating. These children, who have been on the set all year round, are close to adults in their acceptance of things like intrigue. But there are also people who are angry about Kiefer Lee's behavior. For example, Jessica. How could he do this? It's too much. The little girl had an angry expression on her face, and at the same time she was confused. Why didn't the director stop? But soon, her attention was attracted by Martin. Facing Kiefer Lee's professional fencing skills, Martin was able to cope with it easily and had a good fight with Kiefer Lee. This was after he restrained himself. He conceived several pictures in his mind and secretly guided Kiefer Lee's movements and footsteps. Unknowingly, the two of them slowly approached the nearby haystack. "Oops!" Jessica suddenly exclaimed. It turned out that when Martin faced Kiefer Lee's fierce blow, his steps were blocked by the haystack behind him, and he couldn't escape. Nancy stood up immediately, feeling very worried. She regretted why she didn't stop just now, and how she would explain to Grant if Martin was injured. At this time, Martin made an action that everyone expected. "Brothers, please protect me, comment, flowers, collection, fight, please give me some rewards, thank you." Chapter 10. Facing Kiefer Lee's unrestrained stabbing sword, Martin was blocked by the haystack behind him, and it seemed that he could not escape. At this time, he made an action that surprised everyone. I saw him stepping on the side of the haystack with one foot, and with a seemingly effortless push, he soared into the air like a bird, and did a deft backflip in the air, standing on the ground. Above the square haystacks, he looked down at Kiefer Lee. Then, under the shocked gaze of Kiefer Lee, he soared into the air again, and stabbed Kiefer Lee 3 times quickly with his rapier in the air, hitting his helmet, chest, and lower abdomen respectively. Then land lightly. "Mike, you're dead." Martin said a line that was not in the script, but it made everyone feel that it was very suitable for the scene at this moment. While speaking, Martin also, like Zorro, held the sword in front of him with a beautiful sword flower, and then inserted it casually on the haystack on the side. Under the mask, Kiefer Lee's face turned red. He actually lost to an amateur. Seeing Martin's handsome smiling face again, a huge surge of anger surged. When he came up, his reason was completely broken. He actually ignored the opponent's empty hands, stepped forward, and stabbed Martin fiercely with his sword. "Stop!" Nancy couldn't help shouting angrily. At the same time, Martin waved his hand like lightning and pulled out the sword on the haystack, aiming at Kiefer Lee's stabbing sword one by one. The sword in Kiefer Lee's hand. The sword suddenly flew upward uncontrollably. "Wow!" There was an exclamation all around, "This is too Zorro." Many boys and girls showed wonder and admiration on their faces. After all, they are all children, and jealousy comes and goes quickly, especially Martin showed a queen who was far more powerful than them. The scene of Martin challenging Kiefer Lee's sword left a deep imprint in the hearts of these children. Many years later, it is still clear when they think about it. Bang bang bang. J. Sika took the lead in applauding, and then the applause broke out. Nancy walked over quickly. First she smiled and said to Martin, "Wonderful performance." Then he said to Kiefer Lee sullenly, "You can go, you made a stupid mistake." Then he said to the staff, "Go and call his guardian." Kiefer Lee was left in confusion. "Director, can the shot just now be used?" Martin never calls Nancy auntie on the set. This is what Nancy wants, and she feels more and more that Martin is sensible. "Of course it can be used. What I said, wonderful, just now is not just perfunctory to you." Nancy smiled and said, "Although Kiefer Lee did something stupid, it was a blessing in disguise. This scene will definitely become a classic shot of our film." "That's good." Martin smiled, the sun was shining brightly. "You can take a break and shoot the next shot 10 minutes later." Nancy was still a little worried that Martin's mood would be affected, and gave him 10 minutes to adjust. Of course Martin didn't need it, but he didn't have to refuse Nancy's kindness. "Okay, director." Seeing Martin walking towards the RV, Jessica gathered up her courage and trotted over. Seeing Jessica's actions, Nancy smiled like an ant. Our little Martin has grown up and started to exude. The charm of a man can attract girls. The group of young actors also saw Jessica's actions. Some curled their lips, some frowned, some were envious, some were disdainful, and there were two very beautiful girls aged 12 or 13. She cursed, "Bitch," in a low voice. Jessica didn't know what her peers behind her thought of her, and even if they knew, she wouldn't care. She has been in the industry for 4 years, has filmed many commercials, and has also participated in a feature film. Summer Camp, made a cameo appearance on the hit TV series, The Secret World of Alex Mack, and has appeared in several independent films. Last year, Jessica landed the role of Maya in the TV series, Flipper. This TV series is still being broadcast, but its ratings are average. So although Jessica is not well known among the public, she has become many producers and directors in the film and television industry with her sweet appearance and rich experience. A choice that everyone thinks of when casting. For example, this time, Nancy just saw her resume and recruited her without an interview at all. As an old man in the film and television industry, Jessica has never seen anything. She understood a truth: opportunities must be fought for, even at all costs. And now, Martin is an opportunity that she likes. Unlike other young actors, Jessica has already made a name for herself in the circle. With some contacts, her agent had already found out about Martin's identity and some of his deeds, and told Jessica to have a good relationship with Martin on the set. But Jessica thought more. A 13 or 14-year-old European and American girls are actually fully mature in some aspects, especially Jessica, who has been in the entertainment industry for 4 or 5 years. She has heard and seen too many taboo things, and she is definitely not a child in terms of thinking. Martin is more than 2 years younger than her. He is handsome, has an extraordinary family background, and is very capable. He published his own book at the age of 11 and wrote a script, and the script will soon be made into a movie. This is no different from those How About a Pot-Bellied, greasy and disgusting producer and casting director. Jessica is open to certain things in this industry, but that doesn't mean she has no bottom line. "Hey, Martin, can you wait a minute?" Martin turned around and smiled. "Hey, Jessica." He has been paying attention to this girl for a long time. She will also be a big star in the future. She is known as Hollywood Sweetheart and Chocolate Beauty. She is especially popular in China on the other side of the ocean. Perhaps it is because this girl's appearance is in line with Chinese aesthetics. This at that time, although she was not the plump and sweet-looking beauty she would be in the future, she was a little green, but she could already see the prototype of her future. Today, Jessica was wearing a short-sleeved t-shirt, jeans, and sneakers, trotting over to him and giving him her airy and free feeling, especially her long brown hair that rises and falls as she bounces, making her look extremely cute. When Martin looked at her obviously mixed-race face, she showed a little shyness and uneasiness at the right time. The shyness of the little girl is fully exposed. If an ordinary boy faced this situation, he would have been taught by now. But who is Martin? He is a succubus. He can only charm others. Jessica wants to seduce him. Well, the rank is far behind. What's the matter, Jessica? Martin stood still and looked at the girl with a smile. The magic power in his body moved slightly, and his charms suddenly radiated out. Jessica looked at Martin's smile and was a little dazed for a moment. After Martin asked again, she realized that this time she really blushed and said shyly. "Martin, I really like your book, Kung Fu Panda. Can you sign it for me?" "Of course you can, but you probably don't have your book with you, right?" "Hee, I brought it with me. I was afraid of being caught by the camera, so I hid it." While speaking, Jessica lifted up her clothes, revealing half of her chocolate-colored smooth waist and a book inserted into the waistband of her jeans. "Fortunately, my waist is relatively thin, otherwise I wouldn't be able to hide it." Jessica pulled out the book and seemed to inadvertently twist her tight waist, which made Martin secretly laugh. "This method is a bit childish. Brothers, please protect me, please give me comments, flowers, collections, and rewards, click, thank you. Feilu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now, activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 11. Martin, here you go, you won't refuse me, will you? As she spoke, Jessica twisted her waist again, and her cute little, navel, button dangled in front of Martin's eyes. Of course not, it would be too cruel to refuse such a beautiful girl, and besides, it's just a piece of cake. Martin walked towards the RV and said, "Come in, the pen is in the RV." Jessica was overjoyed, but her face was still shy. She nodded at Martin sheepishly and followed him into the RV. Martin rated her acting skills as fair. Entering the RV, Martin gave Jessica poured a glass of juice and went to get a pen. Jessica looked at the decoration in the RV with a curious look on her face. There's also a refrigerator and a TV. It's really luxurious. Wow, you can even take a shower in this bathroom. Where does the water come from? It's so convenient. This bed is really big. It must be very comfortable to sleep on. Well, I'll want it too in the future. There is one. Jessica secretly set a small goal for herself. After a while, Martin came over with a signature pen and took the book handed over by Jessica. A faint fragrance hit her nostrils. What kind of shower gel is this girl using? It smells so good. Martin sniffed his nose, opened the book to the title page, and wrote a line, "I wish the beautiful Miss Jessica to become a big star in the future, Martin. Is this okay?" "Awesome, I love this blessing." The girl jumped up with joy, took the opportunity to peck Martin on the cheek, and then pretended to be surprised, opened her almond-shaped eyes wide, covered her mouth and said, "Sorry Martin, I was too excited just now." Martin was secretly amused, and said nonchalantly, "It's okay, it's a beautiful kiss." Jessica blushed and didn't want to leave, so she said, "Martin, your acting skills are really good. Can I discuss this matter with you when I'm free in the future?" "Sure." "Can we exchange contact information?" "No problem." Jessica felt excited when her main goal was achieved, and started chatting with Martin. During this chat, Jessica discovered that Martin knew so many things, from Heraclitus to Pythagoras, from Socrates to Plato. From Hegel to Schopenhauer, from Shakespeare to Tagore, even when it comes to Chinese philosophers, they are very clear-minded, such as Confucius, Mencius, Laozi. "Jessica, did you know that there is a sculpture of a great Chinese man on the lintel of the Supreme Court of the United States? There are 3 statues from left to right, Confucius, Moses, and Solon." "Oh my God, is this true? There are statues of great Chinese figures on the lintel of the Supreme Court? I really haven't noticed this." "Really, I kid you not, this is a reference to basic laws and precepts originating from the East. Moses, Confucius and Solon were chosen to represent the 3 great civilizations and form the central group of statues in this triangle. Confucius and his philosophical thoughts had a huge influence on the development of early American thought. In the early days of the United States, when the foundations of modern democracy and modern science were being laid, people regarded Confucius as the secular saint of the Western Enlightenment. Including the founding fathers of the United States, they were deeply influenced by Confucius thoughts. Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, James Madison, Thomas Paine and John Adams all had a strong interest in and positive comments on Confucius and his thoughts. They believed that Confucius had a complete system of government and social thought based on religious, ethical, political and social influences. At the same time, Confucius advocated that individuals devote themselves to basic virtues, such as family loyalty, frugality and hard work, which can cure social ills. In particular, Confucius's words are considered a golden rule: do not inflict upon others that which you yourself will not want. Wow, Martin, you know so much. Jessica was completely fascinated by the talkative Martin, and she praised her heartily. This was suppression at the level of thinking. There is a saying that everyone should know: good-looking skins are the same, but interesting souls are unique. So what? Is it an interesting soul? The so-called interesting soul actually means that this person's information density and knowledge dimension are much higher than yours, and he is also willing to lean down and listen to your nutritious nonsense to communicate with you and propose ideas. Some viewpoints that you have never heard subvert your short-term imagination and three views. For example, when you say something, the other party can respond in 10,000 ways. If the other party deliberately responds to you, respond with if the other person responds with the same thoughts and feelings, then he must be an empathetic person. If the other person deconstructs and expands on your words, and responds in a humorous and witty way, then you will definitely think that this person is very interesting. Or if the other party uses a paragraph to clearly spread the knowledge points that you didn't understand in front of you, and it makes you feel comfortable listening, and you feel that what the other party says is very reasonable and interesting, then you will definitely feel that the other party is a knowledgeable person. People. Aren't the above interesting souls? Handsome men and beauties are either born or packaged at a later stage. They are all the same and have no value. But a person with a high level of thinking must spend time to learn. Go to study. Only knowledge can decorate a person's soul with brilliance and beauty. At this moment, Jessica felt that Martin was a knowledgeable and interesting person. This gave her a desire to explore, the idea of understanding this boy. Then this idea became deeply entrenched in her mind, lingering. 10 minutes passed quickly. The next scene was about to be filmed, and Jessica bid farewell to Martin in a daze. Then she was pulled aside by her agent Holden. How about it? What? Jessica hasn't come back to her senses yet. I'm asking how was your chat? Oh, good, we had a good chat, but... Jessica paused. But what? Holden, who had just shown his joy, became nervous again. However, I think Martin is so smart that I feel like an ugly duckling in front of him. Hey, girl, don't underestimate yourself, you also have your own unique charm, otherwise I wouldn't have signed you in the first place. You need to be more confident. Think about it, since Martin is willing to chat with you for so long, it means that he does not hate or reject you. Really? Really, I won't lie to you. By the way, did you get his contact information? Hey, I got it. Very good, this is another proof that you keep your contact information and you will need it in the future. Can I call Martin when I'm fine? Jessica asked with some anxiety. Holden pondered for a moment and said, okay, but don't talk too frequently at the beginning, and find more topics that the other party likes. Of course, if you can get close to Martin and become friends on the set, I think this kind of call can be more casual. Yeah, I will. Jessica jumped for joy. Brothers, please take care of me and give me some comments, flowers, collections, and tips. Thank you. Feilu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade rewards readers. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 12. Hey, Martin, you need to be more rebellious. Okay, I'll try again. In the script of Made in Heaven, if Mike Parker, who lives with his father on a farm in California, has an outgoing and enthusiastic personality, with the enthusiasm of a Western cowboy, then Beck James, who lives with his mother in Londonshire, seemed quieter, like a little gentleman. Of course, both of them had arrogant and unwilling characters to admit defeat, which is why they clashed in the summer camp. First, Mike teased Baker, and then Baker defeated Mike in fencing. The two sides pranked each other. As long as there was a scene that required showing his face, Martin had to appear in person. He was very busy in the crew. To everyone's surprise, Martin's performance was unparalleled. One person played two roles, but there were still differences in personality. For such two big roles, he only made some small mistakes occasionally, and most of them were one-offs. Nancy had a great time shooting, and it felt like it was getting better. It would be better if other children didn't have so many NG shots. Fortunately, the summer camp drama is almost over, and all that's left is the opposite scenes between Martin, Elaine Hadrix, who plays the father, and Natasha Richardson, who plays the mother. Both of them have experience. Rich actors will not make so many mistakes. Very good, this is over. Everyone will rest for an hour. At 6 o'clock in the evening, we will shoot everyone eating at the summer camp, and then wait until around 8 o'clock in the evening to shoot the last scene of the summer camp, night swimming. Martin, how are your swimming skills? Do you need a substitute? No problem for me, I'm just a fish in the water. Martin said confidently. The dinner scene was shot very smoothly. Jessica still had a few dialogue lines with Martin, and there were no problems with other young actors. After this scene, Martin came to the RV, and Nancy invited the incoming tutor, Miss Jennifer, is already waiting at the door. Jennifer is a young girl in her early 20s, with blonde hair and blue eyes, and good looks. She is currently studying at the University of Southern California, where Linda teaches. That school, that job was her social practice. Jennifer was actually recommended by Linda. Miss Jennifer, actually you can wait for me inside. I know, but I don't want to walk into a little boy's room alone, who knows what I will see. Jennifer shrugged her shoulders and made a joke. Martin shook his head and smiled bitterly, if you think too much, you will only see a clean and tidy room. Jennifer also smiled and said. Really, but I don't want to take risks. The two walked into the RV while talking. Martin made Jennifer a cup of coffee, poured himself a glass of juice, took a sip, and saw Jennifer bending down and taking out the class books from the backpack on the ground. Los Angeles. The winter in China is not cold, so many beauty-loving girls still wear cool clothes to show off their figures, and Jennifer is obviously one of them. She is wearing a light blue elastic suspender and tight jeans, and she is bending over to the side of Martin. The amazing curves were clearly exposed. Martin felt that his line of sight could almost extend from the gap between the half of Jennifer's smooth back exposed when she bent over and the waistband of her jeans. He used a little bit of magic power to apply it to his eyes. Suddenly, it was zoomed in. It was like observing closely with a magnifying glass, and you could vaguely see some pictures that you can only imagine by yourself. Jennifer seemed to feel something, and suddenly raised her head, and saw Martin smiling and waving to the window. There was the sweet-looking girl is also waving to Martin. Wow, Martin, it looks like you and Jessica have a story. Are you in love? Martin shrugged his shoulders and said, when it comes to falling in love, no, we just covet something about each other. Then without waiting for Jennifer to ask questions, he added, Jennifer, I have a proposal. Jennifer showed a puzzled expression. Jennifer, after so many days of contact, you have also discovered that my academic level has long surpassed that of junior high school, and even high school is almost self-taught. At this point, Martin paused, looked at Jennifer, saw her nod, and then continued, so, actually, I don't need extra lessons or a tutor, but since you really need this job, Jennifer, so it's better than this. Martin paused again, looked at Jennifer's light blue eyes with a pair of blue eyes, and continued, why don't you still be my tutor, but this 2-hour study time has made me take control of yourself. If Aunt Nancy asks, how about you just say I'm learning from you? Control it yourself. However, since you have to hide it from Ms. Nancy, you can only move around in the RV. What can you do here? Is this necessary? Martin showed a mysterious smile, there are many things that can be done here, for example. Martin looked towards the butt of the car. Jennifer also followed his gaze and saw the big bed in the RV lying there quietly. She didn't know what she thought of, her pretty face suddenly turned red, and then she said with a straight face. Martin, what are you thinking, you are still a child. Martin looked stunned and said, what? What child? What was I thinking? Jennifer said with embarrassment, don't think that I don't know your kids' bad intentions. I know that you kids are very precocious, but I won't agree to it. Martin's eyes widened, he walked to the bed and took out a folder from under the sheets beside the pillow. I can write my novel, Jennifer, what are you thinking about? Jennifer's eyes also widened, and she watched as a smirk gradually appeared on the corner of Martin's mouth. She wished she could find a crack in the ground and crawl into it. Damn it, how could I think of such shameful things, and, it seems like the rejection in my heart is not intense. She touched her hot face and forced herself to calm down. Hee, it's nothing. I didn't think about anything. I just thought you were thinking about it. You were thinking about it. Think I want to have sex with you? The evil smile on Martin's face became even stronger. Oops, stop talking, I was wrong. What about the proposal I just made? No. Jennifer. Martin came over, stood in front of Jennifer, bent down slightly, looked at her deeply, and suddenly said, actually, if you want to have sex, it's not impossible. Thinking that Martin was going to say something important, Jennifer was obviously shocked, and then she saw that handsome little face getting closer and closer to him. Jennifer wanted to hide, but her body honestly could not move. He moved, and even a thought suddenly appeared in his mind, actually, this is not bad. She even pouted her mouth slightly, waiting for what was coming. Snap. A crisp snap of fingers sounded in her ears. Jennifer was awakened and saw that the boy in front of her had moved his head back to its original position, seeming to smile. Looking at myself without a smile. Okay, you're teasing me. Jennifer became angry. Brothers, please take care of me. Please give me some comments, flowers, collections, and rewards. Thank you. Chapter 13. Okay, you're teasing me. Jennifer cursed in her mouth, but felt empty in her heart. She was ashamed and angry. She wanted to scold Martin, but the words she spoke seemed to be coquettish. What's wrong with me? She was surprised at her performance. Martin was slightly proud, it seemed. As his desire to absorb more and more, his natural magic skill, charm, gradually recovered. Martin, who had teased Jennifer, sat down across the table and opened the folder, which contained a stack of manuscript paper. Jennifer couldn't bear it, he said. Hey, I haven't promised you yet. Martin raised his head, smiled slightly, and gently wiped his lower lip with his finger. Jennifer's face turned red again. Damn it, I was molested by an underage child, 3 times. Jennifer, seriously, I understand everything you teach me. How about this, let's test me with some questions every week. It can be questions from junior high school or high school. I guarantee that I can do it. Otherwise we will continue with the class. That's it. Jennifer hesitated. In fact, she had already discovered that Martin had a very solid knowledge of junior high school, but she didn't know that he had even taught himself high school subjects. In this case, Martin really does not need to make up lessons. If I follow what he said, I can easily make this money, and he can do what he wants to do. After struggling for a while, Jennifer finally nodded, and then her eyes fell on the manuscript paper Martin took out. Then she remembered what Martin just said. He wants to write a novel. Surprised again, Jennifer asked, Martin, are you really writing a novel? Do you want to read it? I've almost finished writing it. May I? Certainly. Martin handed the top stack of manuscript paper to Jennifer and warned, read it in order. Don't mess it up. It's very troublesome to sort it out. Don't worry, I'll be careful. Jennifer took the manuscript paper, and what he saw was the neat and beautiful lines of cursive characters, which gave people a pleasing feeling. This little guy can actually write such a good handwriting. Jennifer was a little disbelieving, and raised his head and glanced at the person who was typing. Martin looked at the handwriting and saw this handsome little boy writing beautiful fonts on the manuscript paper with a wave of his hand, and he was writing very fast. Don't you have to think about it? Jennifer couldn't help but asked. The story is in my head, I just transport it out. Martin pointed to his head and said the truth. You are so awesome. Jennifer began to have a little admiration for the little boy in front of her. No matter how good the story he wrote was, or whether it could be published, this wisdom alone would outshine many others. She lowered her head and stopped disturbing Martin. Writing, I started to read the manuscript. The first line was a big title written with a thick pen, Ready Player One. Ready Player One? What a strange name. Jennifer read on with curiosity. After reading this, she became addicted. In 2045, the entire world encountered an energy crisis and was on the verge of collapse. Human beings chose to find solace in a VR game called Oasis. Everything seems to be quiet. But the will left by the founder of the game in the game breaks the tranquility of the paradise. As long as the player finds the Easter egg he set, he can take over the oasis and control the game, becoming the new richest man in the world. The will has attracted countless players, and a big adventure involving the whole world has begun, and Wade Watts has also joined in. A wonderful treasure hunt, a thrilling adventure, a mysterious and dangerous huge conspiracy, vividly on paper. Jennifer. No, don't make any noise, let me read this paragraph, how Wade cracked this level. As soon as the words came out, Jennifer realized it. It was Martin calling her. She said embarrassingly, "Sorry, I was too fascinated. This story is so well written. Did you really write it?" I regretted it after saying that. "Sorry again, that's not what I meant. It's just that this story surprised me so much that I couldn't imagine it was written by an 11-year-old child." Martin laughed. People always use age to judge a person's ability. Maybe this is true most of the time, because most jobs are mechanical repetitions, so more emphasis is placed on experience, but some are based on talent. You can't look at industries that determine achievement like this, such as music, art, and writing. Mozart began composing his own music at the age of 4 and toured Europe at the age of 6, Oscar Wilde began writing at the age of 13, and won a scholarship to Trinity College in Dublin at the age of 17. During his schooling, he won the Puto Award for the best performance in classical literature. Pole Gold Medal. There was a man named Gan Luo in China who went to other countries as foreign minister at 12 o'clock, and used strategies to help his country gain many cities, and in the same year he became the prime minister of the country. So, beauties, don't ignore the existence of genius. Okay, our little genius, what are you calling me for? I'm going to go filming. Just to remind you, you can get off work. Get off work. Jennifer looked at the manuscript in his hand hesitantly and hesitated. Halfway through the story, he got stuck on the key plot. Going back at this time, would be very painful. I can work overtime. She raised her head and said firmly. Martin smiled, "Are you sure? The director won't pay you overtime. This is overtime pay." Jennifer waved the manuscript in her hand, and then asked tentatively, "If I said I wanted to take it back to read, would you agree?" "First of all, thank you for your affirmation of me, secondly, no." "Okay, I'll just look here. There is food and drink in the refrigerator, you can do whatever you want." "Thanks." Martin left the RV to film the final scene of the camp, a swim in the lake. "Martin, take off your clothes right here and jump into the lake later." "Need to take off your clothes?" In the script, in order to highlight the children's free nature, Martin had one of the protagonists completely strip off and swim in the lake. But in the actual shooting, this would not be possible. Martin does not mind dedicating himself to art, but the movie is a family fun type, it is impossible for such a scene to appear. After all, this is the United States, not Europa. P.S. The scale of the Europa movie is so big that it can surpass the United States by 10 streets. Some award-winning movies can really compete with the Sacred Valley movies. "No, you just wear shorts." Then. Nancy's eyes became serious and she confirmed, "Martin, let me confirm again, are you really able to do it? It's winter now. Although the winter in California is not cold, the temperature of the lake is still very cold." "Don't worry, director, I'm fine. I won't risk my life to show off. Brothers, please take care of me and give me some comments, flowers, collections, and rewards. Thank you. Feilu's 18th Anniversary Brand Upgrade Rewards Readers. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now, event time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 14. Nancy stared at Martin's movements in the main camera lens, still a little worried, and said to the assistant director, "Go and confirm whether the lifeguards are in place." After a while, the assistant director came back. "I reminded them, they will be extremely vigilant." "Good." Nancy picked up the trumpet and began to give orders. "Lighting and photography are in place. Martin, I need you to be more agile, especially when you jump into the lake." "Okay, action." Martin trotted to the wooden pier by the lake in shorts. The cool winter breeze blew, making the people watching outside the camera shiver. It wasn't that they felt cold, but that they felt cold for Martin. A winter night in California, the temperature outside is still relatively low. But this is a summer scene, and Martin must not show a cold look. Nancy stared at the camera nervously, fearing that Martin would shiver accidentally. But Martin's performance was outstanding, as if the coolness of winter could not affect him at all. He trotted to the dock with a comfortable look on his face, threw away the clothes in his hands, jumped up, and plunged into the lake with a sudden movement, and then he started swimming happily. Martin in the lake was like a free fish, and the lake seemed to have lost all resistance to him. Even the lifeguard on the lake shore couldn't help but secretly praise, "This kid can swim really well." Perfect. A smile appeared on Nancy's lips. After the swimming scene, Jessica came to say goodbye to Martin. Her scenes are all over and she's leaving. "Martin, will it bother you if I call you often in the future?" the little girl asked timidly. "No, otherwise I wouldn't give you my home phone number." "Don't worry, talking on the phone with a beautiful woman is a pleasant thing," Martin said gently. "Do you think I'm beautiful?" "Certainly." Jessica smiled sweetly, and suddenly pointed to the side and said, "Martin, look over there." Martin turned his head to look, and Jessica pouted her lips and kissed Martin on the face. Unexpectedly, Martin suddenly turned around at this moment, and their lips suddenly touched. Jessica's eyes widened. His eyes were closed and he was a little at a loss. Martin was secretly amused. "Young man, you want to deceive me, the succubus, with such a low-level trick," and took the opportunity to suck on her lips, and put her hands on Jessica's waist. After a while, her lips parted. Jessica looked ashamed. I didn't mean to kiss in the first place. I just want to kiss your cheek." This is a coincidence, this is my first kiss." "You don't think I'm a bad girl, do you?" Martin chuckled. "This is also my first kiss." "If you are a bad girl, I am also a bad boy. We are a perfect match." Jessica blushed and laughed, feeling sweet in her heart. "Really, giggle. I'm leaving, keep in touch." As she spoke, Jessica jumped and ran away, her figure like a happy little sparrow. Halfway through, she didn't forget to turn around and remind her, "Martin, you must answer my call." Martin wiped his lips lightly and smiled evilly. Very good, very good. Such sweet emotions are the most perfect nourishment." "Ah, what's behind, why hasn't Martin finished writing it? Damn it, what is the final level?" When you turn to the last page of the manuscript, the plot comes to a critical moment when the five-member protagonist group is looking for the ultimate Easter egg, and the plot ends abruptly at the climax. Such interrupted updates made Jennifer furious. Then she felt something wasn't right. He looked up suddenly. Then she saw Martin sitting opposite her, looking at her with interest. "Martin. When did you come back?" "When you slapped the table and cursed Nolan, the villain in the book." Jennifer was startled. "What time is it now?" Martin pointed to the electronic clock in the RV, 9:40. "Oops, I have to go back, it's too late, I'm too fascinated." Jennifer hurriedly prepared to get up and pack her things, but was pushed down by Martin. "Going back at this time is not a wise choice. It takes at least 2 hours to drive from here to the USC campus. You should know better than me how bad the security there is after 9 o'clock. The area where the main campus of the University of Southern California is located is the poorest South Central District in Los Angeles. The residents are mainly African Americans and Hispanics. This area is famous for 3 things: shootings, drug trafficking and gangs. In order to ensure the safety of students, the entrance control of the University of Southern California is very strict. This university is also one of the few schools in the United States with walls and iron fences. Every day after 9 o'clock in the evening, 10 of the 18 campus gates of the University of Southern California will be closed, leaving 8. Each guard box is guarded by 2 armed guards. Students must enter with a card, and the same is true for the living area. Since the early 1990s, there have been many campus shootings and student disappearances at the University of Southern California, which has made the school's security very strict. But this is not the end. In the future, 2 Chinese students will be shot and killed in their BMW cars, causing the public security issues at the University of Southern California to once again attract public attention, and have also been criticized by the media around the world. So the security was upgraded again. In addition to access control, multiple security systems were added to the campus. Student dormitories required fingerprint verification. White cars from the schools, public safety department, patrolled inside and outside the campus all day long. There were campus police, including those from Los Angeles. The police force seconded to the school by the police station also includes USC's own campus police. The latter is similar to the domestic railway police and has independent law enforcement powers. At night, Chaoyang Ant will appear near the campus. These ordinary residents are hired by the school to form a guard team. Wearing yellow t-shirts with the words, USC Security Messengers, printed on them, they patrol from sunset to 6 a.m. the next day. The media ridiculed this phenomenon as, the island of the rich in the slums, or, the fortress. In fact, not only the USC, but also the entire Los Angeles has serious security problems. Anyone who has been to Los Angeles knows that there are iron fences and barbed wire almost everywhere in the city. Almost every house in the wealthy area is equipped with automatic alarm equipment, and there are also constant police patrols. As for the houses in middle-class communities, because police patrols are less frequent, the houses are surrounded by iron fences, and almost every household has a dog. The pet dogs in Los Angeles are more than just pets. Unlike the docile domestic dogs in the American Midwest, the pet dogs here are also capable of looking after homes and homes. There is a sentence in the movie, Crash, in any real city, you walk, in Los Angeles, no one touches you. We hide behind the cold metal and car windows. Maybe because we missed the feeling of touching each other, so we crashed, just to feel each other's presence. This is a torn city, with obvious alienation and barriers between strangers, between the poor and the middle class, between the middle class and the rich, because you can't determine whether someone approaching you on the street is asking for directions, or whether they are going to shoot you and take all your valuables. So Martin's concerns are justified. If a beauty like Jennifer drives around the slums late at night, there will probably be another missing student case tomorrow. Brothers, please take care of me and give me some comments, flowers, collections, and rewards. Thank you. Feilu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now, activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 15. You mean, let me stay here? But, there is only one bed. Jennifer's eyes widened in surprise and she pointed to the only big bed in the RV. Martin looked at Jennifer with his clear and stupid eyes and said in shock, "What are you going to do to me?" "No, of course I won't." "No, damn it, that's not what I meant at all, I meant. Do you think I will do something to you?" "Well, of course not, I mean." Jennifer was stunned for a moment, and then found that she was a little confused and had forgotten what she had just been thinking about. What am I worried about? Damn it, I'm so confused by this guy. Jennifer calmed down and then continued. I mean, after all, we are a man and a woman, and we only have one bed, which is not very convenient, and you are not yet a minor. I don't want to be regarded as a pedophile. If someone sees me getting out of your RV in the morning, when I came out, my whole body was so wet that I couldn't even speak clearly. Martin's eyes widened. Jennifer, who told you that I would let you sleep in my bed? Jennifer's eyes widened as well. Didn't you say that? Then she carefully recalled the conversation just now, and found to her embarrassment that Martin had indeed not mentioned a word about letting herself sleep in the same bed with him. What do you mean? Jennifer's face was as red as a ripe apple. What I mean is that our crew rented a dormitory in the scenic spot. I can talk to the director and ask her to arrange for you to stay with the makeup artist lady for one night. Is this okay? No problem. Late at night. Jennifer lay on the bed tossing and turning, unable to sleep. She finally figured it out. She was molested by that little bastard Martin again, for the fourth time. This guy deliberately used words to induce him to think that way. What a damn little bastard. Where did he learn these routines? But this bastard is really handsome. He will definitely be a handsome guy when he grows up, and he is also very smart, he studies well and can write such wonderful stories. Thinking about it, Jenny Fu suddenly felt more comfortable. If that boy were older, I wouldn't mind falling in love with him. Martin is also taller than his peers, and his figure seems to be very strong, and he has those charming lake blue eyes. If she really stayed in the RV, what would happen now? The more Jennifer thought about it, the hotter she felt. She couldn't help but glance at the makeup artist in the next bed. The other person was already asleep, so she put her hand. Don't get me wrong, she just gave myself a body massage. The next day, the crew started busy early in the morning, preparing to pack up and leave the scenic spot. Hi Jennifer, how did you sleep last night? Okay, good. Goodbye, Martin, I'm going back. Jennifer ran away. Martin looked at the woman's back suspiciously. Strange. Just last night, he continuously absorbed a lot of desire from this woman. What did this woman do last night? Martin couldn't help but sigh. Human beings are really beautiful creatures to succubi, because she, have too many desires of all kinds. After the summer camp scenes were filmed, the next thing to be shot was the farm scenes. The crew rented a farm in the southern suburbs of Los Angeles. The farm was not large, with less than 60 acres, and planted cherry trees, corn, walnuts, and some vegetables. This farm actually belongs to the Martin family. Martin's father Grant bought it 5 years ago and used it as a family vacation spot. Nancy also rented this farm because the fertile water would not flow to other people's fields. When Martin comes to the farm, it's like returning to his own home. During the breaks in filming, he will let the workers hired by the farm roast beef, mutton, potatoes, and corn for the crew to eat. Of course, these are all for a fee, including farm workers who also took the opportunity to earn a lot of tips from the crew. Martin, I suddenly feel that you are more suitable to be a businessman like your father than to be an actor, because you are both obsessed with money. After Martin proposed that the crew pay for the farm to provide 3 meals, Nancy couldn't help but scratch his little nose and tease him. Martin chuckled, this is actually the best of both worlds. The farm has gained some profits, and the crew has saved some trouble, why not? Yes, you are right. Jennifer, can you send these manuscripts to Random House for me? Martin finally finished all the content of Ready Player One, and handed a thick stack of copied manuscripts to Jennifer. Jennifer wrinkled her upturned little nose, stared at Martin speechlessly, and said, Martin, I'm your tutor, not your secretary. Actually you can be. Martin said with a smile. Jennifer snorted lightly and took the manuscript. Just think of it as a reward for reading your novel in advance. Then he was a little worried about Martin and said, Martin, do you think Random House will read your manuscript? Will they publish it? No, they will definitely publish such a good-looking story, unless the editors who review it are blind. Martin, why not send it to a few more publishers, so you can be more confident? Jennifer didn't know that one of Martin's books had been approved and published by Random House. She was worried about the gain and loss, and she was even more nervous than Martin, the original author. But she heard Martin's unreasonable answer. Jennifer, have you seen Kung Fu Panda? This book? Kung Fu Panda? Well, I haven't seen it. Why do you ask? Nothing, this is a good book. Well, go ahead and send the letter, my beautiful secretary. Seeing Jennifer's little tunt squirming away, Martin touched his chin and thought to himself. Random House's promotion of Kung Fu Panda is not enough, and the sales volume is not estimated to be large. It seems that we have to wait for the joint promotion before the movie is released. I hope that the 11-year-old genius writer and actor gimmick can be more powerful. When Benjamin received the manuscript from Martin, he was very happy. Wow, Hina, look, our little writer has a new work. He is such an inspired and energetic little guy. I just finished Kung Fu Panda, and now I have finished a new book. I looked at the name. Oh, it's called Ready Player One. Okay, Hina, please stop talking. I want to read the new work of our genius little writer. Xena, did I just speak? In fact, Martin was wrong. Although Random House did not publicize Kung Fu Panda heavily after it was published, this novel with childlike interest and oriental color actually sold well, with 300 copies sold every day. The sales volume of Laban is still increasing at a slow rate. According to this trend, the printing volume of 200,000 copies will be consumed in less than 2 years. For a newcomer, this is already impressive. This is why Benjamin is looking forward to Martin's sequel. Brothers, please take care of me and give me some comments, flowers, collections, and rewards. Thank you. Feilu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade gives back to readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 16. Benjamin, where are you?
Wife, I'm in the office.
Are you still in the office now? What time is it? Why don't you get off work?
What?
Get off work. What time is it?
Sheena.
Damn, where's Sheena? Oh my god, is it already 10 o'clock? Come on, you should really ask your boss to give you a raise. Wife, I'll be back soon, I'm fascinated by the book. Hanging up the phone, Benjamin put down the manuscript in his hand. He was extremely excited. How long is Martin's brain? The imagination of this novel is so rich: computers, the internet, virtual reality games. The plot is compact and the setting is. It will definitely be exciting, especially the final counterattack. This story is so graphic, it is simply great. On the way home, Benjamin suddenly slapped the steering wheel of the car. I thought of it, it's the rhythm of this novel. It is arranged according to a movie of more than 100 minutes. It has a classic three-part structure. With just a few changes, it becomes a movie script. If you look at it this way, the same is true for Kung Fu Panda. Martin's ambition is not small. Before 9 p.m. Jennifer returned to her dormitory in the USC living area. Strange, Akir was in the dormitory today and didn't go to the party. Jennifer's roommate Akir is a party animal. She attends parties with various themes every day after studying. She will not return to the dormitory until late at night every day, and occasionally she will stay up all night. But today, Akir didn't even go out, but stayed quietly in the dormitory holding a book and reading. When did she work so hard? Jennifer walked over curiously. Akir, what are you reading? Ah. Damn, Jennifer, you scared me. Akir almost jumped up, patted her chest, and was so frightened that she felt turbulent. Don't drive, don't think blindly. Jennifer couldn't help laughing when she saw Akir's embarrassed look. Then she curiously poked her head and go over and look at the book in Akir's hand. What are you looking at, so fascinated? Ai Chier waved the book in her hand. I bought a book for my sister today. I thought I would read it out of boredom, but I didn't expect that I was so fascinated by it that I even forgot about the party I was going to attend at night. Your sister, isn't she only 9 years old? You can also be fascinated by books written by a 9-year-old? Jennifer became more and more curious. She flipped through the book in Akir's hand and looked at the cover. I want to see what book attracts you so much. Ah, Kung Fu Panda. Yes, it's Kung Fu Panda. Is the title of this book so scary? I was shocked. Wait, the author is Martin Meyers. Isn't it? Jennifer ignored Akir. When she saw the author's name on the cover, she was extremely shocked. At the same time, she also understood why Martin mentioned this book today. It turned out that he had written it, and this guy had published it long ago. I have passed the work, no wonder I am so confident. Los Angeles. Sherman Oaks. This is a wealthy community with good security. In a luxurious manner. 7-year-old Elizabeth Olsen is pestering her sister to play Kung Fu Panda character with her. Ashley, you play the role of Tactile Tiger. Mary, you come to play the role of Xiao Xiaolong. Bodyguard Mike comes to play the evil Kin Leopard. I am the Dragon Warrior Pa. Come on, fierce tiger and pretty little dragon, let's stop the bad leopard together. The Olsen sisters helplessly played this childish role-playing game with their younger sister. Because if they didn't agree, tonight would be bad, and Elizabeth would definitely pester them all night. Wyoming, Pennsylvania. In a large house on an 11-acre Christmas tree farm. Taylor Swift was lying on the bed and coquettishly, Dad, tell me a little more, I want to know if the Panda Pa has defeated the big bad guy later. Scott. Kingsley Swift is loving. He looked at his daughter, rubbed his little head, and said softly, Taylor, you have music class tomorrow, go to bed early. No, just one more paragraph, just a short paragraph, please Dad. Tyler made little gestures with his white and tender fingers, coquettishly showing off to his father. Scott laughed out loud. Okay, let's talk about it again. He can never refuse his daughter's trick, and the little guy will succeed every time. The scenes on the farm were shot very quickly, and Martin was always able to successfully complete the scenes opposite Dennis Quaid, which surprised the actor because sometimes, when he saw Martin opposite him, he would really think that this was the case. He is his own son, not acting as his own son. Nancy, this kid is amazing. Where did you find it? This is my brother's son. I see. He also wrote this script. Oh, that's it. What, wait. You just said, the script he wrote? Martin. Dennis opened his mouth in surprise, showing an expression of disbelief. Yes, it was the script written by Martin. How old is he? 11 years old. God, I'm shocked. I was playing in the mud at his age. This kid is a genius. I think so. Nancy said proudly. Soon, all the scenes on the farm were filmed, and the crew will move to London in 3 days to shoot the scenes of twin brother Baker James and his mother living in London. After more than 2 years away from campus, months later, Martin returned to school. He didn't come to class, but to say goodbye to his friends and take another long vacation. Martin, you're actually going to London, wow, I'm so jealous. Lindsay Lohan stared with her big beautiful eyes, full of envy for Martin's upcoming tour of England. Martin, do you know that I successfully programmed the game Little Bee on my computer, and also increased the level of difficulty? When you come back, come to my house to play together. Mark Zuckerberg is not interested in acting or London, he just loves computers. Martin, I beat up Potter from class 7 the day before yesterday. This guy actually said that the book you wrote was rubbish. I will not allow anyone to slander my boss. John said angrily. This guy doesn't know if he has Stockholm Syndrome. Ever since he was bullied by Martin in public, he has become his loyal follower and thug. Guys, when I come back, I'll treat you to a big dinner. Martin waved goodbye to his friends. Brothers, please take care of me and give me some comments, flowers, collections, and tips. Thank you. Felu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade rewards readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Immediately rush to recharge, activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 17. London. In a townhouse. The little boy opened his blue eyes and looked at his mother, and the two spoke in fluent Cockney English. The boy's eyes were filled with rebellion and admiration. It was hard to imagine how one person's eyes could express so many emotions, and it was from the eyes of a child. Perfect. Nancy doesn't know how many times she has said this word. Until now, she still hasn't gotten used to the shocking performance Martin gave her. This guy is simply a born actor. Nancy has a hunch that this movie she directed the film will be a hit and Martin will become famous. While in London, Martin suddenly felt relaxed because no members of the Children's Protection Society came with him. Although he still hired a tutor locally, he often, lazy, fishing for 3 days and drying nets for 2 days, sneaking out with his bodyguard and wandering around various attractions in London. Tower Bridge, St. Paul's Cathedral, the River Thames, Buckingham Palace, King's Cross Station and more. He did this not just for fun, but also as an excuse for his next book. Yes, everyone may have guessed that his next book is the killer weapon he has prepared for himself. Harry Potter. What has Martin been up to lately? Why didn't you sneak out to play again? Nancy asked her assistant. Nancy knew about Martin's behavior, but just turned a blind eye. Martin is his nephew. Although he is a genius, he is only an 11-year-old child after all. It's normal to be playful. She's also afraid of suffocating people when she stays on the set all day long. After all, it's not like when she was filming in Los Angeles, where she was either in a scenic spot with many peers communicating, or on her own farm, feel free to do anything. London is a strange environment after all. I heard that I was writing something, and said that I got the inspiration when I was out for fun. When the assistant in his 20s mentioned Martin, his eyes shone with some strange emotions, which seemed to be admiration and admiration. At this time, Martin was writing furiously in the hotel room. His handwriting is extremely beautiful, and there are almost no spelling or grammatical errors, because the entire text is printed in his mind, and he only needs to type it out. So his manuscript can be copied directly after it is written, without having to type it out on a typewriter. Ah, another chapter completed. Martin put down his ink pen and stretched greatly. Feeling a little tired, he walked onto the hotel balcony, looked at the sunset comfortably, and began to hum softly. What he hummed was a song written by an elf in his previous life. The song has no lyrics or accommodation, and the whole song is completed by a clear and melodious throat voice. This is a song that expresses homesickness. Although this world does not have the continuous wars between gods and demons, nor those the Succubus clan can only look up to the terrifying existence that can destroy the world. With his ability, he can live in this world with incomparable wantonness, but, this is not his hometown after all. The light throat voice added a bit sad, the ethereal and melodious voice floated in the air. Upstairs is the hotel's luxurious presidential suite. At this time, there is already someone living in this suite, a woman with long pale golden hair and sea-blue eyes. Temperament and grace. Mary, I heard someone singing. Go and open the balcony door. Yes, Your Highness the Princess. I am no longer a princess, call me Miss Dana, go ahead. Mary walked to the balcony with steady steps, opened the glass door, and an ethereal and melodious voice floated in. Dana narrowed her eyes and listened, but then she seemed to feel that it was not enough, so she walked directly to the balcony and listened quietly. Get up. With the melodious melody, the sorrow in her heart seemed to be washed away. It was the first time since she divorced her prince husband last year that she felt that her soul was so relaxed. When the song ended, Dana felt lost. She couldn't help but feel sad. He said to the maid Mary, go and ask, which artist lives downstairs. If possible, I would like to invite him to have dinner with me. Wait, forget it. Just as Mary was about to go downstairs, Dana suddenly stopped her and said with a somewhat resentful smile, I almost forgot that I am no longer a princess. Others may not be willing to dine with me, an ordinary middle-aged woman. Mary looked at Dana with some distress. She started serving Dana when she was very young. It has been almost 30 years now. She and Dana are more like family members than a master-servant relationship. She knows what has my young lady experienced over the years. She was betrayed by her husband, provoked by her husband's lover, her loved one died mysteriously, she was blamed by her mother-in-law, and finally divorced her husband. How many years has it been, and my lady's demeanor has not been so relaxed. Mary suddenly he quickened his pace and insisted, Miss, I'll try. A moment later, Mary returned upstairs with a relaxed smile, and said to Miss Dana, who looked expectant and anxious, Miss, maybe the weight of the name, Dana, is heavier than you think. The title, Princess, is needed to add color. Dinah's eyes widened and she said happily, so the other party agreed. Yes, the other party agreed. He will come here to visit the lady in the evening and have dinner with her in the rooftop garden restaurant. Wow, that's great, I really enjoyed the song he just hummed, he must be an amazing musician. Diana didn't notice the weird look in Mary's eyes. She walked around the room excitedly and kept mumbling. I have to think about what to wear tonight without being rude. Maybe a fuchsia dress. Mary, what suggestions do you have? In the contact just now, can you tell what the gentleman's preferences are? By the way, what kind of person is that gentleman? The voice sounds very young, right? I don't know what your personality is like. The weirdness in Mary's eyes became more and more intense, and she seemed to want to laugh, but she concealed it. She wanted to give her young lady a surprise, so she said calmly, Miss, that gentleman must be a very good-tempered man. He is also very young and handsome. I think you will like it, Mississippi Dana. S face turned slightly red, no, I didn't mean that. I just like his music. Mary smiled without saying a word. She liked to see the childish attitude of the young lady, which had swept away the heavy and hesitant look before. I hope that when you see that, sir, you will not be shocked. Mary is looking forward to it more and more. That gentleman came to visit in the evening. Brothers, please take care of me and give me some comments, flowers, collections, and tips. Thank you. Felu's 18th Anniversary Brand Upgrade Rewards Readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab it now. Deposit, activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 18. Dana is an emotional person. Such people are most easily moved by art. Her friendship with Michael Jackson began with pop songs, her relationship with her lover Barry also originated from an equestrian performance. At that time, Prince Bales, Camilla and Dale had been dating together for a long time. When the depressed Dana saw Barry's handsome appearance riding on the tall horse, her emotions broke out uncontrollably. It may have been out of revenge for Biles at first, but later on, Dana did fall in love with Barry, and the two even thought about elopement. But soon, the unusual relationship between them was discovered, followed by Barry's transfer, and then, Barry died in a car accident 3 weeks later. Barry's death in a car accident hit Dana hard. At a later public event, Biles inadvertently told Dinah the news. The huge blow brought by the shocking bad news shocked Deanna, and her sensitive heart was hit hard again. But she finally realized that this marriage, which existed in name only, could no longer be repaired. She was unable to squeeze out the third party, and she was unable to restore her husband. She no longer placed her hope in her family and her family. The choice was made: I want to go my own way. In February 1992, a world-famous scene occurred. At that time, Bales and Dana visited India together. Today is Valentine's Day. According to tradition, the prince and princess will give a Valentine's Day kiss to show their love. But when Prince Biles put his mouth towards Princess Diana's face, Princess Diana turned her neck and the timing was perfect. Diana wouldn't let the prince kiss her. The prince's kiss was ruthlessly rejected by his wife. More than 150 professional photographers and more than 7,000 delighted Indian audiences witnessed this scene with their own eyes. Since then, the marriage crisis between the princess and the prince has been fully publicized. On December 9 of the same year, Prime Minister Major of England announced on behalf of the royal family that the marriage of Princess Diana and Prince of Wales was indeed in crisis, and the two were officially separated. Diana, who was frustrated in her marriage, had no choice but to turn to Queen Elizabeth for help, but in vain. Faced with her request for help, the Queen responded lightly, "I don't know what you should do, Biles is gone." Saved. Prince Philip was even more hopeless for help. Diana desperately told the people around her at that time, "My father-in-law, Prince Philip, told my husband, Beers, that if your marriage is not happy, you can go back to her, Camilla, after 5 years." Disappointed at the bottom of her life, Dinah already understood that she would not get any support from the royal family in the confrontation with Biles. Being isolated and helpless was a situation she had to face. In 1996, Diana made the brave decision to divorce the prince and used her determination to convince the Queen. In the end, the Queen ordered Bales to sign the divorce agreement, and Charles and Diana's 15-year marriage finally ended. But Princess Diana can still retain the title of Her Royal Highness. After that, Dana devoted more energy to charity. This time Diana returned to London to raise funds for the North African Charity Hospital. This city brought her too much pain and resentment, and she was in a bad mood until she heard humming from downstairs. Evening. Boom, boom, boom. There was a knock on the door. Dana, who had changed her clothes long ago, stood up and was about to call Mary to open the door, but suddenly she felt unconfident. "Mary, do you think I am well dressed? Will it make me look too fat?" "Miss, you are very beautiful, and your dress is very decent. You will charm that little gentleman." Mary said with a smile, walked to the door and opened it. "Dear Your Highness Diana, I am here to keep your appointment." You. Dana was speechless because standing at the door was a handsome little boy in a neat suit. "Are you Mr. Martin Meyers?" Martin stood at the door, as if he were a little grown-up. He bowed to Dana and gave an aristocratic salute. Then he raised his head and replied generously. "Miss Dana, I'm Martin Meyers." "Wow, unbelievable, really unbelievable. I always thought that the person singing downstairs was an elegant adult man." After all, she had received long-term aristocratic training, and Dana quickly regained her sanity. Although her words were still full of surprise, her body and posture had naturally adopted a ladylike posture, and she returned a salute to Martin. "Madam, you are half right, I am indeed an elegant man, I am just underage." Hey, you are really interesting. Where are your adults?" Diana covered her mouth and laughed. "You mean my bodyguard? He's downstairs. I don't want him to disturb my dinner with you." "No, I'm asking your parents. They are in America. I came to London alone, and with bodyguards." Are you American? I can't hear anything from your accent. I have a little talent for languages. Martin's boast made Dana laugh again. If these words were said by an adult man, they would seem a bit exaggerated. But when they were said by a child, they were full of childlike interest and innocence. Yes, I can hear your talent for language. So, young gentleman, I would like to ask if you hummed the song just now, and who composed it? Miss. Call me, Miss. Diana interrupted. Okay, Miss, I sang and composed the music. Copying the enemy elf, as a succubus, Martin has no psychological burden at all. What? Diana's mood that had just calmed down began to fluctuate violently again. Are you serious? She couldn't help but confirm again. Miss Dana, don't look at me like an ordinary 11-year-old child. I'm a genius. Genius? Yes. But Miss Dana, should you invite me into the house to talk? Our conversation inside and outside is obviously a bit strange. Oh, I'm sorry, I was negligent. I'm so excited. Please come in. Mary, go get our little gentleman, a glass of juice. Okay, ma'am. Mary obeyed happily and gave Martin an encouraging look. She hadn't seen such a heartfelt smile from the young lady for a long time. Brothers, please take care of me and give me some comments, flowers, collections, and rewards. Thank you. Felu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade rewards readers. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now, activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 19. Martin walked into the room and looked around curiously. How about it? Is this room pretty good? Diana said with a smile. The room is nice, but the people in the room are what make this place shine. Your arrival makes this place shine. Geez, you kid really knows how to talk. No way, I can't always lie to a beautiful lady. Ha ha ha. Diana finally couldn't hold it in any longer and laughed happily. Mary, who came out with a glass of juice, also laughed and looked at Martin with eyes full of relief. This guy is awesome. Martin and Diana chatted, and from time to time would elicit exclamations from the former Princess of England. What, you also wrote a book that was published? What, you're making a movie and you wrote the script? My God, you surprised me so much. Now I believe it. You are a little genius. The two of them chatted in the room until after dinner. Diana, who was still not satisfied, invited Martin to sing another song in her room. Martin happily obeyed. This time he chose a song that was popular among the people of their succubus clan. Song, I Need Your Happiness. As the name suggests, this is a cheerful song, presented by Martin with his pure throat voice, which is less passionate and lustful and more fresh and playful. As Diana listened, a faint smile appeared on her face, and the sadness between her brows completely disappeared. Wait until the song is over. Dana couldn't help but said, it's really wonderful music. I really want to keep you by my side and listen to you sing every day. Seeing Martin's eyes widening, Diana couldn't help but smile, pinched his cheek and said, I'm kidding, but seriously, Martin, do you want to make a record? So I can buy it and listen to it every day. Release a record. Martin touched his nose. He was planning to wait until the voice-changing period before considering releasing a record. Although the succubus can use mana to simulate any sound, after all, he still needs to use his voice to express the sound. After the voice-changing period, the vocal cords once fully developed, you can then use mana to outline the succubus's unique rune patterns on your vocal cords, and you won't have to worry about the pattern deformation caused by the growth of your vocal cords. But now that Miss Dana has brought it up, maybe she can use her fame to become my music publisher a breakthrough. At that time, novels, movies, and music can be promoted together, which may produce unexpected effects. Miss Dana, is this a formal suggestion? Martin's little face became serious. Dana was stunned for a moment, and then she became happy. He pinched Martin's smooth little face again. Martin, what the hell kind of hobby is this? And then said, you can think of it as a formal proposal. Oh, in this case, I can consider releasing an EP. I have composed a total of 5 pieces of pure music before, but they cannot be combined into an album. It is more suitable to release it as an EP. Of course Martin has more than these 5 pieces of pure music. He has countless classic works from the gods and demons continent in his memory, as well as popular music works from this world. But there is no need to take them out all at once. Do you want the water to flow slowly? Martin rolled his eyes. And then said, Miss Dana, then, do you have any reliable music distribution companies to introduce to me? Diana patted Martin lightly on the shoulder and said with a smile, Are you relying on me? Little slicker. I just trust my sister. Martin suddenly released his magic power, and the succubus charm was fully activated. Dana just felt that Martin's sister was about to make her heart melt. So, it's too late today, I'll think about it and give you an answer tomorrow. That's fine with me, Miss Dana. No, just call me sister from now on. Martin was happy, then wouldn't I become William and Harry's uncle? Go back to your room downstairs. Martin suddenly found Nancy sitting on the sofa in the room, waiting for him. Aunt Nancy, why are you here? Nancy looked Martin up and down, and then said in an annoyed tone, Martin, you are too courageous, how can you run around? As he spoke, he glanced at the dejected bodyguard Gordon next to him, and criticized, Gordon, as a bodyguard, don't you know that the target of your protection should be in your sight at all times? Martin explained for Gordon, it's not Gordon's fault. I insisted on him staying. Nancy ignored Martin and continued talking about Gordon, as a bodyguard, you shouldn't listen to the target of protection in everything, especially when the target of protection is still a child. What are your opinions? To be honest, Gordon was also very confused. Why did he involuntarily follow Martin's instructions when he told him? It's really weird. I wasn't like this before. Martin continued to smooth things over, okay, Aunt Nancy, I really don't blame Gordon this time, but the guest who invited me has a special status and is not suitable to take him up. Gordon glanced at Martin gratefully. Nancy looked at Martin with a cold face and said, you have a special status. How special is it? Is it worth our little Martin going up alone to meet him regardless of his safety? At this point, Nancy's expression suddenly changed. She seemed to have thought of something, and said with an ugly face, isn't that a woman up there? You. Martin's eyes widened. That's too much, Aunt Nancy, that's too much. He said, there is indeed a woman up there, but what are you thinking, Aunt Nancy? I'm only 11 years old. Nancy also stared and said, it's because you're only 11 years old that I'm worried. You guys are here above. Chat. Just chatting. We also had dinner together. Any more? Well, I sang a few songs that I composed, and the other person said that he would help me release a record. What, how come I didn't know you could compose music? Nancy was shocked at first, then came to her senses, no, the other party wants to help you release a record. Martin, you have never seen the dangers of this society. You cannot trust the promises of strangers. She said with a stern expression, who knows what other purpose the other party has. They want to use the matter of releasing a record to seduce you and do something you shouldn't do at your age. Martin chuckled, Aunt Nancy, you don't have to be so subtle, I understand. No one in this world can deceive me. Hee hee. Nancy sneered, really? Who is the guy upstairs? She is not a liar, nor is she a stranger with ulterior motives. You actually know that Aunt Nancy upstairs. Nancy was stunned for a moment, I know him too. No one I know has come to London recently. And instead of contacting me, I contacting you? Little Martin, are you fooling me? Of course not, because the person upstairs is Ms. Dana. What? Nancy was shocked again. Brothers, please take care of me and give me some comments, flowers, collections, and rewards. Thank you. Feilu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade rewards readers. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now, activity time, August 10th to August 20th. Chapter 20. You said it was Ms. Dana who you chatted with all night? The former Princess of England. That Dana? Yes, that's her, Aunt Nancy, close your mouth, your jaw is about to drop. Nancy ignored Martin's joke and asked again, are you sure? Isn't it someone who is pretending to be someone? Come on, Aunt Nancy, I'm not face blind. Besides, the other person invited me upstairs because she was attracted by my singing. She doesn't even know me. That's right. Nancy rubbed her chin and thought, Martin is back in London for the first time, and he is not famous yet. Not many people know him. There should be no one who has gone to great lengths to deal with him and even rented a presidential suite. Really, Dana? It really couldn't be truer. The princess temperament cannot be imitated by others. That's quite true. Nancy muttered, then became interested. What did you all talk about? Your Highness, why would she help you release a record? Dana. What? Please call her Miss Dana or Madam. She doesn't like to be called Princess anymore. Well, I now believe that what you saw is indeed the princess, no, Lady Dana. Then Martin repeated the exchange between the two after seeing Dana today to Aunt Nancy. Aunt Nancy listened with a smile on her face. Oh my God, you got the favor of the princess. No, Miss Dana, did she really say she wanted to make a record for you? No, Aunt Nancy, are you listening? It's an introduction for me, and she's still thinking about it and won't give me an answer until tomorrow. Martin was a little speechless. His aunt seemed a little too excited. Oh, great. Well, I have decided that the crew will have a day off tomorrow and I will accompany you to see Miss Dana. Martin, you are just a child and you must have a guardian by your side when talking about these things. Nancy didn't hear what Martin was saying at all and was thinking about herself excitedly. She stood up and walked around, muttering something in her mouth. Well, I have to prepare a dress, a Polaroid, and a pen. Then I will take a photo with Miss Dana and ask her to sign the photo. By the way, I have to prepare a decent gift. I can't be rude when we meet for the first time. What kind of dress should I wear? No, I have to go shopping in Oxford Street tomorrow morning to choose a suitable outfit. Let the crew take a day off tomorrow. It's just a day. It won't delay anything. Well, Martin has now confirmed that his aunt is Dana's fangirl. True to her word, Nancy called everyone that night to inform everyone that the crew would have a day off tomorrow. She herself took happily Martin to visit Oxford Street. Only one dress is sold. How can it be? When a woman decides to go shopping, what she buys and how much she sells are not constant. When Nancy and Martin came back, the trunk of the car rented from the hotel was full. Nancy was satisfied and Martin was as tired as a dog. Women are simply scarier creatures than the sun god, especially when they start shopping. That night, Nancy took Martin upstairs to meet with Dana. But when she saw Dana, all the strong woman aura in Nancy disappeared. She turned into a crazy fan and posted it. Wow, it's really Ms. Dana. I never thought it was you living above us. I returned to London secretly this time. Because of the divorce, I was really scared by the media and paparazzi. I didn't want to delay my business because of them. Diana shook her head helplessly and answered Nancy's question. To be honest, since the divorce, she has really seen the horror of the English paparazzi, who really do everything they can. Her bodyguards even used to do whatever they can to her. 3 bugs were found in the hotel room where she stayed. Then she looked at Nancy in confusion. Who are you? Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Nancy Meyers, Martin's aunt and the producer and director of the movie that Martin is currently filming. She turns out to be a strong woman. It's an honor to meet you. Diana brightened up and showed a sincere smile. Our former princess has always supported women's independence, both financially and personally, so she has great rewards for strong women who can achieve a career in any field. Nancy and Dana had a pleasant conversation. Nancy found that His Highness, the English royal family allowed Dana to continue to use the title, His Royal Highness, was very different in private from that in front of the media. He was more approachable and not special. Pay attention to manners. She didn't know that Diana would only do this to those close to her. Nancy completely borrowed Martin's light, and because of her love for Martin, Diana fell in love with Nancy. When Nancy and Martin left Diana's room, by the time she left, the woman had already considered herself a friend of Diana's. I really didn't expect that His Highness would be so easy to get along with, without any airs. Oh my God, I took a lot of photos with His Highness today. I will definitely pick a few to enlarge and hang them in my office when I go back. Oh, Ms. Dana and I both like purple. We also like Chinese black tea and Jamaican coffee. We are really a match made in heaven. Martin looked at his aunt, who was going crazy all the way suspiciously. Is Aunt Nancy obsessed with filming movies? It's a perfect match. Has she forgotten the fact that she is a woman? It took a while before Nancy remembered the business. Dana gave me a business card, but I forgot to read it just now. Yes, you were discussing with Sister Dana about using movies to promote charity, and you were talking very passionately about it. Yeah. Let me see, where is the business card? Interior pocket on the right side of the jacket. Martin looked at Nancy with squinting eyes and a depressed expression. Oh, I remembered, yes, I found it. Let's see, the music producer Grant Brooke. Wow, he has the same name as your father, Fate, just like me and Dana. It's obviously Ms. Dana, but when did it become Dana? Are you that close? Martin complained secretly. But for the fact that this music producer has the same name as his own father, Martin doesn't care at all. In the West, the repetition rate of people's names is very high. For example, call John in England, Hans in Germany, Enrique in Spain, and Charlie in France. Countless people are guaranteed to respond. There are even 3 generations with the same name, and they are distinguished by the first, second and third generations. In 4 days at most, we will finish shooting the scenes in London. Then we will go visit this person. Brothers, please take care of me and give me some comments, flowers, collections, and rewards. Thank you. Feilu's 18th anniversary brand upgrade rewards readers. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Event time, August 10th to August 20th.